This is Doc, aka the Gunatic Fringe, aka Kenny Goo Mega, aka Ube Lashley, aka Jacob Puto, aka I Love You Solo Suka, aka Suman Reigns, Acknowledge Me, aka the Chow Main Event, aka Welcome to the Puso Penitentiary. Hey yo, when I say Poos, you say so Poos.
So,
So,
Poos.
so.
so,
Shoo! AKA Cherokee the Swan, your host. And welcome to the prescription. This is Doc. And today I have with me a couple of dudes I know from the fighting game community. And I know it's a pretty hot topic right now because you know we got those games out there. We got Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. We got Street Fighter 6. We got the Capcom Fighting Collection, and we got the Capcom vs. Marvel Fighting Collection, and you know we got Strive. We got everything out there. We got Tekken 8, and I thought, who better to talk about these same kind of things, fighting games, all this stuff, the community, than with two guys from the community. I got with me coming again to the stage. We got Hawking. Welcome back, brother.
My pleasure, man.
New York, New York. And we got Will, also from New York. How you doing, man?
whoa, 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 whoa. No, no, no. I do not claim that rat infested city. No, I'm from Atlanta.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah,
I,
AKA I'm not creative enough to come up with a nickname.
oh
My name is Will.
Uh,
okay.
Hey, man, our rats aren't that bad, okay? Like, yeah, you know, people think we got like Master Splinter out here all over the
Hey,
streets. Like, it
Yeah,
ain't like that.
when in fact you just have like, twice the size, like mini Godzillas out there.
oh yeah. Cause I know I went to New York. I had like a big ass rat walk over my foot. Um, and that I thought it was a cat at first, but no, it was a rat. And
Man, yeah, I had that experience too. Like, I tripped over a rat the size of a cat. Like,
yeah. You feel bad too, like just stepping on it and or just like you're like, oh damn, did I do something? Then you see a big ass rat and you're like, oh no, it's not Remy. Nah, this ain't a cute rat at all. This not Mickey Mouse. This is Master Splinter. Uh,
man, I was like, when I learned it was a rat, I was like, fuck, I should have kicked it harder.
hey, but yeah, man. Yeah, so Atlanta, ATL, ATLians, you know. Um, so
Second house,
yeah,
poke chop, all that.
man. So I always start off the questions like whatever, but you know, I don't do that show anymore. I do a different show. Um, so I know how Hawking got into wrestling. We talked about it. You know, WWF back in the day. We talked about New Generation era. We talked about ECW. And I know Will, you're younger than us, so who are your guys starting out? How did you start out with wrestling?
So yeah, so I mean when I was younger, I'm 30 now, right? So
Mm.
um like 2000 I was like 6 years old. And basically it was around the time that my stepdad came around. And that was when I started to kind of peek in. It wasn't really until deeper into that ruthless aggression era, right?
Yeah.
Because like I'd always gotten glimpses of the Attitude Era that was going over to my cousin's house and playing like WWF No Mercy and like shit like that. And so that was like my only real peek into it. And then every now and again I might be over there on like a Friday night or a Monday night and I'll
Yeah.
catch something. But outside of that, nothing too crazy. But it wasn't until like Ruthless Aggression really, like, the revive of DX, seeing John Cena become a thing, seeing Orton become a thing, Batista, shooting his machine guns for the first time.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was really kind of that was like my real era. It was like that, and then maybe like a little bit into the PG era. That was when like my dad fell off, so I fell off. So nowadays, like the only person in my whole family that's like watching weekly is my sister. She's the only one that stayed on, all through PG, all through, COVID, all that. Like, so she saw that really cool WrestleMania or Money in the Bank, was it? Where they had like, the fight to the top of, the corporate
Oh yeah,
building.
they killed Baron Corbin
Yeah.
and Rey Mysterio. No,
Yeah.
no,
Basically where they basically
Baron
just
Corbin
turned
killed Rey
WWE into
Mysterio.
Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he killed Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black, if I'm not
Yeah, that's what
mistaken.
You
happened.
know what I'm saying? Like, and that's like, so if I riff for a second, I had a little side tangent, like somewhere in the late tens,
Yeah.
where I got a hold of Lucha Underground for probably about a season. And I was like, okay, no, this is way better because we're acknowledging, but we're not saying, hey, kayfabe, who cares? We're just putting cutscenes in here and we're giving people power-ups. And then I heard like, oh yeah, like somebody just brings a gun to the ring. Who cares? Shut up. You know?
Hey,
Like that's the kind of dumb shit that I
yeah,
liked about WWE.
they
Oh,
had that dude Matanza, Jeff Cobb, aka Jason
yeah,
Mateo. They had him eating dudes like he was some dragon,
yeah,
like literally.
Right.
yeah, dude. I love Lucha Underground. It's like they would kill people. They had like freaking like
People had
like
forms. Like
Yeah,
yeah, they had like
Penta had a form.
cartels.
yeah. Like I know like Sanos Escobar, right? Well, let's start. I'll name them right now. So if we look at TV, we got Sanos Escobar, we got Penta,
Mm.
Fenix, we got Brian Cage. They're in both. They're like everywhere.
Yeah,
Ricochet,
John Morrison was on there for a minute
John
too.
yeah, he
Morrison.
was.
Like
That was
Yeah,
where I really actually like. I think he was on WWE before that, but that was where I actually he locked in. I was like, oh shit, this guy is fucking
yeah, he
cool,
had a
man.
run in WWE before
yeah,
doing Lucha
yeah.
Underground.
He was
But like,
he was one of the
I
ECW
think
champions.
I think the thing that really made Lucha Underground feel like super unique was mixed singles.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like everybody's talking about now where they had Penta versus Chelsea Green, who was like reclusive back then.
yeah.
And I didn't make it far enough into
He
Lucha
did.
Underground to see that match when it dropped,
Yep.
but like I watched that probably 5 or 6 months ago.
Hey.
And I was like, this is just like you
They,
can make this happen. This could happen on WWE. I don't know why we don't do it. But it's
um.
Uh,
just like if you have somebody that's skilled enough and
There's
weight classes are even, like
yeah,
Nia Jax could
bro.
play against like Bronson Reed.
yeah,
There's the famous Penta match. I thought you were gonna talk about the other famous Penta intergender match where he fought Io Sky. He fought
I
yeah,
didn't
Kyrie,
see that one.
and he
he
fought
fought.
Lena
He fought
Yang or
Io
whatever.
Sky and Kairi Sane in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, that's
That
like probably
sounds sick.
it's one of the dope matches. They got it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like for me, I I have to accept like intergender if it's like in that kind of context like that. Um, like it has to be something where it makes sense, where it builds up to it. Because like I can't really
Because I think
watch.
if you book it right, where it's just like you're not putting like I'm just throwing names out here. You're not putting the Big Show up against like Zelina Vega, right? You're not doing that.
Yeah,
But you put people up against it where it's just like, okay, hey, look, listen, this is like a middleweight or like a flyweight type of wrestler
like
versus another similar weight class where like this woman can lift this man up
Yeah.
and do her move.
like
Like basically, if they can do all their moves on each other, I don't see why we can't do that in WWE because
yeah,
it really does a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
to put the women over.
WWE, like WWE will never do it because they have sponsors.
yeah,
Because
they
It's power shit.
they don't want because Snickers isn't gonna want
Ma-
for
Mattel.
Mattel Snickers that they're not gonna want freaking Randy Orton to RKO Nia Jax. Like
He did though, but they're not.
yeah,
But
he
we
did.
had
Yeah,
him
It's gotta
doing
be
that. Like
it's gotta be
he
in
like
context.
he
yeah,
punted Stephanie in the head.
yeah,
Like what
After
are we doing?
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Pretty much
he
the closest we ever got to a modern intergender match in WWE was it, I think, like 1 or 2 years ago when Rhea Ripley beat Tozawa in a match on Raw, on a random match on
Yeah,
Raw.
but he couldn't like hit anything on her. That's the
Yeah,
difference. Like in so like when the way they get away with it in WWE and AEW is those mixed matches, right? Where like
Yeah.
the women can hit the men, but the men can hit the women. But then like when like AEW had that pay-per-view like a couple like a week or so ago, like where like Willow, who I love, and Marina were like they took bumps from men. So like it can be acceptable, but like not even AEW will have that on their TV, even though they're like I think they might be
I know
14.
they did go full blown intergender matches during those Jericho cruises.
Yeah,
Like
but
I know
that's
that
not
for a
Hmm.
fact.
on TV.
Like if we
Yeah.
if we theory craft, right? If we theory craft a an intergender, like let's just make up the, the Kings versus Queens, pay-per-view, the PLE right now, right? Like who are we having? Like name 5 matches we could have right now in WWE, right?
Like you're talking about like a Survivor Series kind of, because like if you
Like
do it like a
yeah,
Survivor
just
Series,
Well,
a straight up card that's just men versus women.
pretty much the biggest intergender match that
it's
WWE could
Dominic versus
have.
Rhea.
Yeah, yes, Dominic versus Rhea.
That's
That would be
That
it.
would be fucking wild. Yeah, that would be so much heat, dude. Oh my
uh,
God, that would
Dominic
be
Guerrero
sick.
is one of my favorite wrestlers right now. I mean, I hate the way he
Thank-
wrestles in ring, but the way he gets his heat, man, that's
Is
Latino
amazing.
heat. That's
Yeah,
Latino heat right there.
yeah, man. That man is the greatest
And
intercontinental champion ever.
you think about it, like
He's so hard, man, you
Rhea,
know?
like people respect Rhea as like a tough motherfucker because she like threw her arm back into place last year.
Mm,
Like it wouldn't be super
hey,
out of pocket to see that, right?
yeah.
Like
I'm an
that can
advocate.
happen.
I'm an advocate for Willow Nightingale beating John Moxley for the world title because like man, that girl's thick. Um, like I think that's the one missing ingredient is you can't have like no model girl step like because like back
Like
in
Trish
the
Stratus or
yeah
something like
dude
that.
so
Like,
like back in the Attitude Era they had like Lita get the shit beat out of her by Stone Cold and Triple H. Uh,
yeah,
like you can't do that shit now.
no, absolutely
Like they had Kelly. I think they had her get also beat up by like fucking Mike Knox or something since CM Punk had to save her or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like I don't know about all that, like having like someone like that step
I
up. Like
honestly like pretty much in modern times, you don't even have to go that extreme. I don't know if
yeah,
you like this was during like the bad times during WWE,
yeah, you
but
had
I remember
Maria
when
versus Umaga, dude. Come
yeah,
on.
like dude, I'm thinking about like a few years ago when Baron Corbin and hit his finisher on Becky Lynch,
Oh,
like
that's not
the
the
oh
freaking like the
yeah.
crowd fucking erupted, like fucking
yeah.
like massive heat on Corbin, just for doing his finisher on Becky.
Yeah, I definitely think
Like,
something like a
yeah,
tag team match or like a six-person tag. I think that works more for intergender than a straight up like
yeah,
a fight because like you have like because like in tag teams like you got a smaller tag team versus a bigger tag team. Small guys can work together
Uh-huh.
to do all these double teams on the bigger guy. Same kind of concept, and like there's that whole thing. But like it really for like an intergender match. I'm not sure if you guys ever watched this or you should look this up. There's a Minoru Suzuki versus Asuka match, uh, and like
okay.
he
Yeah,
slaps
I
the
know
shit
about
out of her.
yeah, I know about that match. I haven't
Yeah,
seen it though.
yeah, he slaps the shit out of her like hard and like sometimes like matches, but like it becomes like she starts fighting back towards him. Like she like, but then that's Asuka, you know. Asuka has like that, even though she's a shorty, you know, she's like barely 5 feet. She has that intensity to her and those kicks and stuff
Mm.
where like you kind of believe like okay maybe she can like protect herself. And like that's the difference. Like I would never want to see like a Liv Morgan or like a I just don't like to watch Zelina at all. But like if I see something like it's like Zelina, man, that's like that's probably like my least favorite wrestler. Like I know you guys see me in the wrestling thread. I'm always like talking about that. Like yo, like
Oh yeah, you yeah.
yeah,
But
like
it's, I mean, it's understandable. Like
I
she's
mean,
just
I like
She
Zelina.
wrestles. She wrestles like she needs to be on NXT and not in like a Lash Legend Trick Williams slot. Like
Like Lash Legend is actually
she
Lash Legend went from like
she's
whatever
really
to
good.
good now. Lash
Yeah,
Legend
she well
is
that's
good.
what NXT was supposed to do. It's supposed to be like, hey man, like,
Yeah, because
you
people were
know, this
shitting on
is
her when she
developmental.
debuted. They were
Well,
shitting on her
Mama,
when she debuted, and then she became like she's good now. She's like a good power wrestler. She's a good base. She catches girls when
mhm.
they do the flying. Cause like I did watch the match with that's another girl, Kalani, whatever, Jordan. She's
Yeah,
good as
Kalani
hell,
Jordan.
Yeah.
man. Like I like her more than Sol Ruka, who's all right, but Sol Ruka is like just like that finisher. But Kalani is like she can have matches. That's like the difference for me is like some people can actually have matches and some people are just moves. As far as like the young people, I like there's some young people in NXT that I do like, and most of them are in the women's division.
Can
Um,
you give me some names? Cause so like when I tell you like I sort of follow WWE nowadays, I have nothing on NXT.
all right. Well, there's Kalani Jordan. There,
Okay.
I don't really like JC Jane. And, well, I guess like all the girls that I like Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne, they're all made roster now.
Yeah,
I,
they
So
I,
they they come across some
uh,
of my like Instagram and
so
YouTube
like
stuff.
and like
yeah.
they just got Mariah May, but I don't know.
Now Mariah May is really good. Like if
She's
you see
really
her,
good, but
yeah,
like
she
the NXT girls are not gonna be at her level, which like if she I
Yeah.
think if once she goes main roster she's gonna hit, but in
honestly
NXT,
I don't necessarily see that as a problem because pretty much Mariah May at the very least, like with her
she's
level of experience, I guess like she's close to being a veteran. She can teach them some things.
she had probably one of the best matches I saw live because she had like a hardcore match with Tony Storm where they both bled and they had like real glass and that shit
Oh,
was
oh,
hard, dude.
oh, you saw the Hollywood ending match.
Yeah, I watched that
Mm.
live and like man, like the storyline building that up was also really good. So
Honestly,
like
I disagree.
I mean, I liked the whole thing.
Uh,
I liked the whole match, man. That whole match was like insane.
See, my issue with the build up towards that match is that they had they had Tony Storm, they had her go back to doing the original gimmick where she apparently had
Oh yeah,
amnesia
that
and all this stuff.
that shit was lame. Like you could have just kept her timeless the
Like,
whole time.
Wait, what
uh,
was the build up to that even?
She
pretty
she
much.
lost the title and then she became basically WWE Tony Storm with the hat and the sunglasses and the Australian accent, acting like nothing ever happened. Like she basically
Oh,
time shifted
She,
to
she just like
yeah,
2022.
factory reset.
she reset.
Yeah,
She's acting like she's pretty much this blue chipper rookie who's never been in AEW before. Like she hasn't, like she
yeah,
wasn't like a 3-time world champion, and everybody's looking at her like she's fucking crazy.
yeah. That
I don't
that
know.
was a waste of time. Like
Uh,
after that,
I I
uh,
enjoyed that part. My issue with that is like apparently she was doing that whole thing to pretty much lead Mariah May to a false sense of security,
why
but
would Mariah
but
be?
it never played out that way.
Yeah, it's so
He's
stupid.
yeah, he's like
She just
one day
thought that she was crazy. That's all that she thought.
yeah, pretty much yeah, but then just one day she has decided to stop doing the old gimmick and go back to being timeless, and she's going like ha ha ha, I tricked you. Like no, you fucking did it.
Like,
You just decided to drop the gimmick and go back to the one that made you a success. You didn't do shit.
yeah,
That's a, I mean,
it's
like
funny.
that's a way better excuse than a lot of people would come up with.
Yeah,
Oops, I
No,
hit my head real hard. I'm timeless
no,
again. Yep, that's it.
yeah.
I'm back to, yep.
no. She's telling
Like
me
if
she's
like
tell,
if John Cena got hit real hard by
No,
R
but
Truth
she
this
she
week.
never she didn't get hit hard in the head. She just literally lost and ran away. And they said that she had a mental
Oh,
breakdown.
no.
oh,
Remember,
she just
she said
anxiety into it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
no. Remember, she said that when she lost the title to Mariah May, she said she was going to retire from wrestling.
Oh yeah. And then
Yeah,
she
then
did
she
like a
like
world tour and then lost everywhere else.
yeah.
She went to like Mexico. Oh, dude, did you guys
That's
watch the Mexico show from yesterday? That one.
No, dude, I did not see the AAA
Oh
show.
no,
Was
no, not
that
the
any
AAA
good?
show. It's a CMLL AEW
Oh, you
show.
took the Grand Slam, AEW
Yeah,
Grand Slam.
like
Yeah.
because I love Lucha Libre. I know you're talking about
Oh,
Lucha Underground.
AEW has a Lucha contract too?
Yeah,
They have a
yeah,
partnership with CMLL.
yeah. They have a partnership with
Okay.
CMLL and a partnership with New Japan. And then this week is sort of like all of them coming together for like a week in Mexico. And then they're gonna do it again in like because they did it at the beginning of the year in Japan for like Tokyo Dome for all the
Yeah, they do
companies.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that every January. I think was it
Yeah,
Fantastic it's like
Fantastic
something.
Media. And then this
Yeah,
year they added the Grand Slam, and that's Mexico. Everybody come to Mexico. And then in the for Forbidden Door, they're all coming to like England or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, like I read about the incident this morning about how a Mexican fan tried to
Oh,
attack MJF in his hotel
yeah, dude.
because he pretty much took Mystico's mask.
Yeah, yeah. That's how dope it is, dude. That's how dope wrestling is in Mexico, where you still have people
Oh
like
yeah.
they still like think like it's real. Cause like there's a spot
Complete
in there
farce.
where he hits a tombstone on Mystico on the outside, right? And in Mexico, when you hit a tombstone, that literally means like death. Cause like I think the Mexican word for tombstone is like martinet or marinette or something, but that's what they call like a marinette. So like he'll like you when you get the tombstone, you get stretchered out. So you hit a tombstone on fucking Mystico Sin Cara for you, my friend, and like
Oh, okay, okay. That guy's back. Cool.
well,
But
though, so like
he never left.
he never left. So
He just went back to
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mexico.
yeah, so the way I talk about so Sin Cara, Mystico, um. So like Mystical, right? He is the equivalent of like a Tanahashi or John Cena from the 2000s. Because
Yeah.
he like debuted in like in 2004 and he was like the biggest draw in Lucha Libre, like one of the biggest stars in Lucha Libre. And that was the whole big thing why he went to WWE because he was like he was asking for too much money from CMLL. And so like he went to WWE, had that run. They replaced him with Sin Cara Negro. He went to AAA. And then like 5 years ago, he went back to CMLL, and then they gave him back the mystical name because he had like a bunch of different names. He went back to CMLL, got back the mystical name, and he came back like, like how John Cena like right now like is like he's the biggest guy in the thing, right?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, so he's here, and then yeah, you Mystical right now is the biggest draw in Mexico, and CMLL is like pretty much the number one company in Mexico, and part of that is because of Mystico. Um, but yeah, dude, it was. I find it funny that both that Lucha Libre right now is like the number one thing for American promotions to jump into. I think that's
Yeah,
cool, honestly,
yeah. I mean,
because like
WWE buying AAA is kind of crazy to me still.
it's crazy for me. Like because I grew up with AAA, right? I really liked it, and then for the last like 5, 8 years, I thought they were gonna die. And like I don't really like WWE buying it, but I mean, what are you gonna do? They're
So
this is what they do.
now,
They
now I
take
have a
over the
different
world.
question. Does AAA still like keep kayfabe?
What
He
do you
And if
doesn't
they
mean?
do,
care.
how strict are they about it?
Oh,
It depends.
Like in Mexico, like kayfabe still matters.
Yeah,
Like that's
Okay.
why
Ye-
MJF got attacked.
they so like they did not like basically Vikingo. They don't like Vikingo. He they imagine like 2000.
My
Remember like John Cena sucks thing.
No,
Yeah.
I would say Vokingo right now is pretty much is on pre-tribal chief Roman Reigns in
Yeah, yeah,
Mexico.
kind of like because like he's the chosen one kind
Okay.
of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
And then like imagine Alberto Del Rio, he's
Trying to put
getting
him over.
cheered.
He's definitely not over. Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like the crowd was cheering for Alberto Del Rio to win the match.
Jesus. You mean high school gym wrestler Alberto Del
Hey,
Rio?
but
yes,
he went back to AAA and became like the big draw for them. So like he actually helped
Okay. I
them get
mean,
back
yeah, that
up.
makes sense. He was like always like his problem
yeah.
was never charisma. I don't know what his problem was
Oh,
actually. Like
his problem was
if somebody had some Alberto Del Rio lore. Like,
Oh
Well,
was he like an
yeah.
oh,
alcoholic?
did
Like, was
you?
he like,
Oh, okay. So, so I'll tell you, man. So basically, he had this thing with Paige, right? Where he got her like on the yayo, allegedly, and like he was like very kind of like they're saying like there's some
He was
there's
he was possessive and controlling, and was using drugs to keep her like the force her to stay with him.
yeah,
well, that'll do it.
and then
Yeah.
he got cut again. And then he had a thing where he allegedly had a hostage of someone that like, well, his girlfriend or ex-wife or something kept her hostage like in a thing.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And
Yeah, he held
then
somebody hostage. Yeah.
but then he was declared innocent. And then there's some things there, but it's mostly like people will say that he's like guilty of that. But he also has like connections to I'm not gonna say because I don't want to say anything and because
Is
I'm
it
no
a
snitch.
thing that I've seen in the news that we are
Well,
fighting against or hoping
well,
doesn't come to the country?
yeah. Well, let's just say there was a. I remember, just relating to that. I remember there was a story with Del Rio and Mystico. Since they fucking hate each other.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
he in
Eh,
WWE he ripped off his mask as a shoot.
yeah.
As
Oh
a
my
shoot,
God.
he ripped
Yeah.
his mask
Yeah.
off, even though like
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
a
but
crazy shoot.
remember his very last match with WWE. What was it when Mystical called off the match because he
he
had
broke
broken
his
his
hand
finger?
and broke his
Yeah,
finger.
and Del Rio was like, "Fuck this!" He just
He
beat the
beat the
shit
shit out of him.
out of him.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, I know. Supposedly, all this hatred was also from like an incident back in Mexico when I think like Mexico pulled a gun on him or some shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh
Like,
man.
oh, behind the scenes in real life, huh?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, Lucha Libre is fucking filthy.
So
Like
so
behind the scenes.
so
Like, wait, when you say filthy, like, I'm thinking about all the
Oh,
stuff that I've heard goes
uh,
on in
dude.
the
Oh,
WWE
no,
locker
no, no,
room.
no.
no.
We're talking
When I mean filthy, like the like AAA and CMLL, they act like fucking rival gangs.
yeah,
Oh my
cause
God,
like
okay.
so there's a wrestler in AEW, right? His name is Rush. His brother's Dragon Lee. He has another brother called Jarlistico. So Rush left CMLL with with Dragon Lee and Jarlistico because they wanted to like they went
Uh,
to Ring of Honor. Hey, what's up, man? Joining
Yo,
us
what's
right
good?
now is Zulu. What's up, man?
Can you guys hear me?
Zoolander,
Is my mic working?
Yeah.
Hello?
So
aka Orochi Zoolander.
so we're talking
Yo.
about Lucha right now. I'm telling the story about Rush and his problems with CMLL. So basically, there's this group, Los Ingobernables. It had Andrade, Rush, and a couple other guys, right? So Rush and his brother Dragon Lee and Jalistico all quit to go to Ring of Honor. Um, and anybody who was associated with Los Ingobernables, the original one, they were treated like you can't come back here. You're banned from Arena Mexico. So Rush went over to AAA, and
Hmm.
he, even though AEW has like a partnership with CMLL, he's banned from the building because CMLL actually owns Arena Mexico. So he cannot come back.
Mystico.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he cannot come
Okay.
back to the arena because CMLL said basically it's on site with him. It was like that for
Okay.
Andrade until Andrade like made
Yeah.
apologies, came back, and that was before Andrade went back to WWE. But like still the three brothers, Jalistico, Dragon Lee, and Roosh can't go to CMLL, and whoever was associated with them also can't be there. So like
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I remember.
Bordos is in LF is also in Los Ingobernables, but because he's dating Mercedes Monet, Sasha Banks, she was able to call an audible because I guess Cash Wheeler and Cesaro got sick, so he was able to sub in a match, and that was kind of like people were surprised because like anybody in Gobernables associated is like it's on site with them.
Yeah.
Like they would
Also,
literally fight like in the streets. That's like how crazy it is.
Yeah, like
And then like
Oh wow, okay. Okay.
I do remember AEW also had an issue when they tried to book Triple A and CMLL wrestlers.
yeah,
Pretty much is like pretty much like, yo, these guys cannot work the same shows.
yeah, um,
It's like, yo, if you're gonna use like, it's like if Tony Khan wanted to book CMLL guys for like Collision, like then no AAA guys can be on that same show.
yeah, and they
It's
can't
like
be
the
on Ring of
companies will not
Honor.
allow.
They couldn't be on Ring of Honor. They couldn't be on like the dark match. They can't be there. They can't be in the building. That's how serious it was. So like
Oh, Ring of Honor.
you guys know about like Octagon Junior, right? He showed up like on
Yeah.
the Money in the
Yeah, he
Bank.
was
Yep.
on Rose Collide. Yeah.
So okay, so this is a story about like Kalisto.
I
He
was about to
was
say I do not know anything new about Octagon. Like I saw him on Lucha, I was like, oh hey, he's cool.
yeah. So like this is a new Octagon Junior. So before there was two wrestlers, Flamita and Kalisto, who were going to be given the gimmick, right? The original Octagon left AAA to go to CMLL. So when they're doing like this whole like ceremony to introduce, oh, this is going to be the new Octagon Junior, he showed up, strapped with hitmen, and said, "You bet, you thought," when they were going to do the ceremony. So what happened is like at the time, Octagon Junior, who's Flamita, he was in Ring of Honor, now he's in Dragon Gate. They told him, "Hey, no, you're not going to do this." So what happened is Flamita like basically he quit AAA, flew to Japan, and
Oh
flew to
wow.
Asia and never
Yeah.
came back because
Yeah.
he's afraid for his life because Octagon
Yeah.
came there with guys strapped up. This is the world of lucha.
Not surprising.
Yeah,
This guy
lucha.
came. What's his face? The 6-man. Who did he beat in the 6-man tag team event? I forgot his name, but he beat
We're talking about Rose Collide.
Oh, no, I'm Mystico. I'm pretty familiar with where
Oh,
he came from.
Oh
He was.
yeah,
I remember at first time he was using some 6-man tag thing that I saw like maybe 10 years ago.
yeah.
Who the fuck was it that he beat?
Because Mystical has a
I can
lot of
find
beef
out.
with it. A lot of the reason also he left CMLL because we talk about the Alberto Del Rio beef, even though they also had beef because they were both in like FCW at the same time. Was like he had beef with so many people in CMLL because they were thinking that he was being paid more than everybody else because he was the draw. And so he was like, I'm not gonna put you over. Now fuck you, I'm not losing to you. So he also created a lot of enemies that way. That's kind of also why he ended up in WWE and became Sin Cara and all that stuff.
yeah,
But you know,
yeah,
real
like
stars are real stars.
yeah, like in lucha, when people have real heat with each other, it's like, yo, like they'll legitimately try to end their careers. It's like, you're gonna try to go to this dive on the outside. I'm not gonna catch you.
Yeah.
Oh,
It,
Yes.
it,
oh,
it be like that.
Yeah,
It,
that
it
sounds
be
about
like
right.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's about right. Cause
uh,
like yeah, Zoo, we were talking about I was trying to educate Will about like lucha libre and like the politics and like the backstage stories of
there's
lucha.
so much
Oh
I
man.
just didn't know.
If you know
Like,
nothing else, all the Rey Mysterio stuff alone, the mainstream stuff like that is like the tip of the iceberg, you know? So
oh
it
yeah.
What do
gets
you mean all the Rey Mysterio stuff? You
Well,
mean
like
he's a cool guy that has a son that wrestles?
that like accidentally killing someone or almost killing
yeah,
someone,
Oh no,
he
whatever.
I
you
Like
know,
know
I
that
know about that
he
one.
killed
Yeah,
Torito
everybody
in
knows
the
about
ring.
that.
yeah, that's like nothing. That's like
Yeah, that was an
that's
accident
normal.
though.
That's
Like
normal. That happens. I'm not saying that happens all the
top of the
time, but
iceberg.
No,
yeah, that happens more than it
yeah.
should.
Forget
You
And
guys
Triple A
mentioned
La
Ring
also,
of
Parka
Honor
died.
earlier.
dude,
Triple A
like
La
we'll
Parka
probably,
died doing a suicide dive, and he was
Yeah,
caught by
yeah,
Rush caught him perfectly,
yeah.
and then he still died.
yeah. I think did his hit. I think his head hit the bottom of the barricade,
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man.
and he was fucking out.
yeah. Because like Rush was there to catch him perfectly, right? But then
Yeah,
his head still hit the bottom of that
uh,
shit. Because like you
yeah, the
can do everything
barricade.
Oh,
perfectly, and then something like will happen. Um, yeah. Now it got all sad.
Yeah, bro.
but but like yeah, Lucha Libre is probably like
Yeah,
my. I know I talk about like Japanese. I know I talk about like Ring of Honor and all
yeah,
that, but like my favorite style is Lucha Libre
yeah. Yeah,
because
really?
of
we'll probably be here all day. We talk about all this shit involving Conan. 'Cause-
Yeah.
man.
I mean,
You
I
Oh,
know,
really
you
like
know
you
what
mean
WCW.
the
okay,
WCW really
Conan
pushed.
From Lucha Underground was like a wrestler? Like really?
Oh yeah,
oh
oh
yeah, he was a
yeah.
wrestler. He
Oh
was
man,
like
Oh
oh
yes.
in the
man,
90s,
yeah,
he was like
I
the
thought
Hulk
he was
Hogan
like
of
a
Lucha
for
Libre.
sure.
He was
I thought he was a
literally
Jerry Lawler type.
nah, he was literally like
Nah.
the Hulk Hogan of pro wrestling in Mexico. He was
Yeah,
No
sounds
way.
Yeah,
about right.
yeah, yeah. He was Hulk Hogan of Lucha Libre. Like,
yeah,
most U.S. fans know him from being in part of the NWO,
WCW.
though.
Like that's
Yeah,
why they
Yeah,
brought
I
him
mean, yeah, he was in there too.
into WCW because he was a big star in Mexico and like Eric Bischoff was trying to like basically bring all the big stars in, right? But he
honestly,
Word.
stole
WCW pushed luchadors way more than WWE. I mean, everyone knows Eddie Guerrero and I guess Chavo or maybe Rey Mysterio, but Psychosis, Juventud,
the
Conan,
Parka,
Halloween,
Yeah.
I don't
Ultimo. It's
know,
just
man. Like
Yo,
we
Silver
had
Ciclope.
King.
LWO. Like I won't say that WWE never pushed
No,
Hispanic wrestlers.
no
yeah, you know
WCW
how
has like
WWF
so many. What's it? What's the guy? Cyclope or whatever with the one eye or
Ciclope,
whatever.
yeah,
Ciclope.
Los Villanos, Super Calo.
Yo,
We had LWO.
yo,
WWE never had LWO. You know what I mean? La
WWE had the
Parca.
Mexicals
yeah, the Mexico.
Yeah,
Ah, but
that's
on
coming
the
up
it's not
on
here.
nearly the
the
same.
on the lawnmowers.
Juventud
Oh
was a
my
star in
God.
WCW.
Was that
So
that wasn't the same time that
Oh,
JBL
do
was
do
on
you
his send him back streak, right?
do you want to
Yeah.
know the reason why Psychosis got fired from WWE? We're gonna talk about
Was that?
luchadors again. So
Yeah.
they went to Australia, and apparently he got on that Sherm, and he
yeah,
tried to steal a
of
car from a
As you
pregnant
do.
woman. No, like from a teenager, he stole a car, and then he crashed it.
course.
And this was in Australia, and then that's how he got fired.
He
How
was doing
sad?
good too, like in the
Yeah,
'90s to 2000. Like he was the man in WCW, so he had like a good. He was wasn't he like the cruiserweight champion or some
I'm not
shit like
sure if
that? And
Psychosis
then
ever won the cruiserweight title, but I know he was like always like on Nitro, on Thunder, on the pay per
yeah,
views.
Yeah.
Oh, so he
Um,
was
could have.
verified. Like he was really
mhm.
like on. Like he wasn't just dark mashing.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah. He
he was.
was,
Yeah, Psychosis was a regular fixture of the
dude.
cruiserweight division.
Like when I think about like
Yep.
Lucha and I think about like freaking like Juventud Guerrera, that dude, man, that dude
Yep.
was so that 450. Did he do like you just watch like I know we talk about work rate now and all that stuff, but like when you were like in the 90s and you just turn on WCW first hour, it's cruiserweight, it's lucha libre, it's Japanese wrestlers. You got Liger, you got like legends. You got
Yep.
Jushin Thunder Liger, you got Rey Mysterio, you got Ultimo Dragon. You got all these guys just doing like 10 5-minute matches, and it's like the best 5-minute match
Dude,
ever.
And you had a lot of
I've
really
always
legendary
said,
stuff. You guys know Eddie versus Ray, Havoc '98. Come on, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
Havoc 97,
Oh,
bro. When
I
he wears the
love.
Phantom outfit.
That
Oh
was
Yeah.
man.
special. I still remember that shit. So I don't know if that's Larry, right? You're the one. So you right during when you were doing, or I guess the episode with me. I was telling you about how Invasion left a big mark on me.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
never forgotten the Invasion event, WCW versus ECW versus WWE or whatever, and they had
Yeah.
like this huge, like it's impromptu, like 3-on-3 luchador thing. Like you had three luchadors all doing like the corkscrew all at the same time, and it's like off the rope. Like that was insane.
Yeah, when you talk about
You
like
know
the
what?
WCW cruiserweights, and then like in WWE, you had like X Pac, you had Tajiri,
Hey,
you had
hey,
Tajiri,
man.
hey,
Yo,
yeah.
X Pac is fucking
now,
awesome,
now,
bro.
now,
And
not
he
to
I
was
love
cut
X
us
so
Pac.
off complete,
underrated in doing his
not
day.
to
X
not to
Pac
cut
was
us off
also good.
completely,
X Pac was so good, man. He was one of my favorite dudes. I loved him in
not to
TNA
cut us off.
too.
Oh, what you
I'm
say,
sorry, my
Will?
bad. Go ahead. I was going to say not to cut us off completely, but the thing that I've said ever since I saw this man do a move first, which was Lucha Underground, that's the first place that I remember recognizing Prince Puma. This
Oh,
man was like 10 years too late to wrestling.
Oh, you talking about
nah,
Because
man.
Ricochet?
yeah,
Yeah,
Ricochet would have been
No,
goaded
yeah.
top
Ricochet.
tier
Ricochet
in like
is.
late mid to late 90s wrestling. He would have been so fucking over.
I think like he debuted like if he had debuted in 2020 in WWE, he would have hit harder. He
Fuck
was so
no.
hot in Lucha Underground.
The thing is too, the only other thing he needs because he doesn't have any mic skills, like
Oh no,
none.
no, dude, you should
That's
watch him
why it's
now.
better.
You should
He was
watch him
so much
now.
better on. Oh,
You
wait,
should watch
really,
it
really?
now.
Wait,
Now,
he's on
bro.
AEW, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Or
should watch it
I'm
TNA?
now.
sorry, but like his AEW stuff is mad cringe.
He's supposed
Okay,
to
Yeah,
I was
be.
gonna say
yeah,
He's
I
supposed to
he
be
agree.
was
what
I'm
better
the
than
Andrew
big
Tate,
Chris
right?
AEW
Puma because he didn't
fanboy, and I
say a
have to admit,
word.
He's
yeah,
He's
supposed to
supposed to
he's
be
be
Chris
been
Andrew
Puma
Tate
because he
now.
didn't
he's
say
bad.
anything. Like Chris
Uh,
Puma didn't say a word. He had that manager, that bald
yeah,
guy,
Conan. We were
and it
talking
was
about him
like that.
earlier.
Yeah, Conan.
Conan,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Conan
Conan.
worked. Conan was like a great like Wish.com Heyman, like or Wish.com MVP even.
Oh
Like
man,
he
that's
he
so
he did his
disrespectful,
work. He did
man.
his
Hey, if we're
job.
gonna talk about Conan, don't forget what's his
LAX.
face, Hector Garza. Remember we were talking about the corkscrew earlier? He's the
Oh
one
Oh,
who
yeah,
made
Hector
that.
Garza.
man. Rest
Hector
in
Garza,
peace.
man.
That
Yeah,
dude
man.
was.
I thought
He
I
was
love the
supposed.
corkscrew for a reason.
He was
To the plancha or whatever.
Dude,
like
I don't understand how TNA never pushed him, bro. Like they had
Yep,
Hector Garza and did
yep,
nothing.
Scott
yep.
Hall lost to him
because
clean.
because no one that
Scott
has the
Hall
money
lost
to
to
It's
him
do it
still
knows how
used
to
clean.
today.
push
Corkscrew
anybody.
plancha is still a thing today that he
Yeah,
made in like '91 or whatever.
yeah.
So
When you see him like on like WCW on the Nitro, just hit a clean corkscrew tornillo like onto
plancha.
everybody. It's just like it's crazy. And then like his nephews like Berto and like Angel
Yeah,
Garza.
yeah.
Those dudes are really good. They're really underrated. They've been good for like 10 years. You know, I know they're young.
Because
They're
the
like
legitimate answer,
they're like only like
History
legitimate
does
answer
not
is that we
remember the
should
dead well, unfortunately. Like
yeah.
who
bro, the
besides me? I don't know
legitimate
about
answer
you
is we should
guys.
be cycling our
Who
we should
remembers
they
what's
should
his
be
name?
cycling talent like way better than
Uh,
they do now.
uh, Silver
I
King,
don't know.
rest in peace. But like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ramses.
So
Oh yeah, I
Ramses
love
number
Yeah.
one.
like the
Silver
thing
King, man.
uh,
Cause
yeah,
like
go ahead, Zoom.
so Silver King is part of the Wagner family, started with Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Wagner. You got Dr. Wagner Jr., one of my favorite cruiserweights in New Japan.
Dude,
And then like he wrestled in AAA, wrestled in CMLL. He lost his match to Psycho Clown. His son is like
yeah.
now in WWE. Elijo the Dr. Wagner Jr. And like their uncle is Silver King. So
Yep.
like and like he has a brother too, Galeno Del Mal. That also means like the
Oh
bad
wow.
doctor. And like there was a time like in
Did not know
Noah,
that.
they were in Noah and they wore Ramsey tribute outfits like for their uncle because they wore like like in Nacho Libre he wears all gold. You guys know what I'm talking about, Nacho Libre?
Oh,
Yeah, of
Nacho
course,
Libre, yeah.
Yeah, so
of
like
course.
their dad, their uncle was the bad guy in there, Silver King, but he wore like that
Mm,
Ramses outfit, and so they wore like that as a tribute to him because he died. Unfortunately, he also died in the ring of a heart
Yeah.
attack.
What was that?
yeah.
He was
2019, 2020,
yeah, he was in
2021, something
and
like
he
that.
was in full like Ramses gimmick too. So
Oh
it's
man.
Mm.
like
Yeah.
Dude, I remember like Bret Hart saying that he like Silver King was the best wrestler on the
that's
WCW
El
roster.
Dandy. That's El Dandy.
El
Really?
Dende. Oh yeah,
Who are
yeah.
you
He
to
said that
doubt El
about.
Dandy?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Well,
interesting.
Mean Gene did.
Well, oh man. I when I think about like that, like growing up, and
Mhm.
that's like those are like my memories of like the pro wrestling because like like everybody now is sort of obsessed with like longer matches, like and that's in
Yeah.
any company. Like everybody wants like longer matches because like we're getting like we're getting 3 hour shows twice a week. AEW is like gonna be moving to 3 hour shows twice a week too. And that's a lot of wrestling, but Nitro had like 3 hour shows every week, but they were able to have like 15 matches in a row because and like it was all action, 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 promo, action, action, action. At least that's what I remember when I was growing up. And like I wish that they would be like 10-minute, 8-minute matches instead of like we gotta go to commercial break, we're gonna come back. Because like I always feel
Well,
like commercial break ruins a match.
well, you keep in mind there's a lot of footage that the people at home are never gonna see, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
so
I remember when like pretty much fans would like scoff at the idea of WWE Speed. Like that show that they have on Twitter, which is where they have matches with a 3 minute time
WWE
limit.
Speed should have been our truth show if he it just transitioned 24/7 title to that.
Well,
and
That
El
should have been
Grande
his segment.
Americano is the
all
speed
right, they're banned
champion.
from wearing
Yeah.
the R Truth shirts. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I wish
Oh,
I
I'm
we had
sorry, the
speed.
Ron Killings title. My bad.
Yeah, they I thought it was funny because everybody like he legit got fired, and now they're trying to do like a whole like, no, he was never fired. It was all part of a show. But
No,
like he already said, no,
oh,
I was fired.
yeah, that's what Triple H is
I
trying to
mean,
do. I think he's
yeah,
trying to
yeah, that's
reclaim a
Triple H.
narrative.
Hey, you
Yeah.
But
guys enjoying the show? No, shut up, motherfucker, dude.
Shut up,
Like,
man. I cannot wait for The Rock to fire his ass already. I'm ready for someone else because like I'm
the
tired.
man,
I'm tired of like he kind of took over NXT from what NXT was like last year, and then he came in and like now you push these people, and then like on Raw like nothing's happened for like the whole year. Like it's the same thing, and like it's just like I want something
and
different.
that's where I jumped on. I rode the Raw train for a bit last year, and then I fell right back off when nothing changed after WrestleMania. Like barely
Uh,
anything. Well, some stuff changed, but like it was like, okay, this is still like a variant of the
Hey,
dynamic we already had.
yeah, because that's the way he books. He booked all his good shit in NXT, and then tried to bring that to WWE, but then it's like
oh,
it's the same shit.
I'm not mad at it because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But
well,
you're also booking something that's living, so you have to eventually not
He's
maybe
going
not
back
fix, but
to
change it.
he went back to
NXT doesn't
Gunther
have the
as
best
world
track
champion, man.
record. You know,
hmm?
we have to understand that talent is not always taken care of or recognized in its time, especially now. I was
Yeah,
so excited for Samoa Joe to make such a big splash when he came to W. I'm like, people are gonna fucking love Samoa
they
Joe,
did.
and now it's like, oh,
They did love
Yeah,
Samoa
You
Joe.
know, yeah,
He
you
just
know,
got
him and Nakamura were supposed to make such a
I
huge
mean,
impact, and they were such a flash in the pan. People
I
forgot
mean,
about Samoa Joe in like 2 days.
hey yo.
Nakamura was forgotten about
You
I
after like a
mean, I
you
year or
mean,
did you
whatever.
see
I
the
mean,
Brock
Zoo,
Lesnar
don't even
Samoa
get me
Joe match?
started.
The
Yes.
Brock Lesnar Samoa Joe
Don't
match was sick, man.
yeah,
I
Yep.
like
Yep.
that feud.
don't even get me started on the death of like your finisher being your fucking finisher. Right?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
How many crossroads does it
I
take to
watched
end the
this.
match?
Oh my god! Like
Three,
you know who was the last person I saw where it's just like
uh,
their finisher was their finisher was like Liv Morgan for a long time. Like for the longest time
It's
last
the
year that I was watching, Liv Morgan
uh,
was the only person who was like she did her
mm,
finisher, pinned,
and
and
that's
that's the end of the
yeah,
match.
it's the
yo,
Until she did
flanderization
it twice,
of
and I was like, Jesus,
wrestling.
okay, wow, even her, like,
Yeah,
just
man.
to adjust what Zoo was saying, like WWE actually did book Samoa Joe very well.
Yep.
He did.
Yep.
They
I
did.
He
think
yeah,
wasn't
Trey,
they did.
recognized in his
yeah,
I
they
think they
time.
did.
did.
He
I
wasn't
mean,
respected.
no,
He
he
was just a
was.
He
workman. He was a
was,
workman like wrestler, and wrestlers like
but
that today
he
are
he
not what
main
the fans
evented so
want.
many pay-per-views though, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
he
Vince
won.
McMahon
Yeah,
liked
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
him.
mean,
what? He's
like
not
at some
looked
point
at.
he has to
People don't
become
look
a
at
he has to
Samoa
become the champ
Joe
at some
and
point, right?
no,
people don't look at Samoa Joe and especially even Nakamura as like that guy. You
no.
know, they're not going to remember Nakamura in 15 years. You know.
See, the biggest issue with Samoa
Shinsuke
Joe's
is the
run in,
biggest fumble I've seen in a hot minute. I'm not gonna lie. Like
yo,
I don't know what their plan was.
yo, pretty
Well,
much
their
like,
Nakamura could
plan
have
was
been
for
that
to him have
guy.
that feud with Jinder Mahal.
yeah,
Oh,
that killed him.
I mean, yeah, I mean, but like, okay, if all right, so I'm reaching back, all right, because I've like I said, I've been
Uh,
drinking, okay, but my
yeah,
memories of like Jinder Mahal is that he wasn't complete trash. He was like if you took someone from NXT that was making A pluses, but they hadn't been all the way through development. And it's like, okay, hey, get on TV now.
Yeah,
Now you're
I
on
I
SmackDown. Like
really
he
feel
was way too early.
I really feel like Nakamura and Joe didn't need to be in NXT. They could have been
well,
on the main
Fuck
roster
no.
like
no,
well,
because
AJ
they already
Styles.
had a big following. People like
They
me
were
were
ready.
obviously big fans of
yeah,
them.
AJ Styles
I
went
was
on
excited to
TV.
see. All right, yeah, WWE, they're gonna get their
uh,
shine. Millions of people are gonna love them, their charisma, and it. I mean, a little bit, especially Nakamura with his opening and the violin thing. But that
uh,
faded pretty quickly and became a gimmick. And
I'll
then,
even
see, the biggest problem with Samoa Joe in WWE is that he just kept getting hurt
Yeah,
whenever he got
that's
yeah.
momentum.
He was
Like
gonna be in WrestleManias and he got hurt.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
like
oh,
he won the NXT title and then he got fired as NXT
oh,
champion.
yeah,
I don't know if you. It's not a
yeah,
little bit of a random tangent, but you know Samoa Joe plays Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal show.
Yeah,
I
he's
know,
good.
yeah, he did. Yeah,
yeah.
I watched that. I watched that insight.
Honestly,
Yeah, that was pretty
yo,
But
sick.
it's weird.
yeah,
It's Will Arnett's voice, but his body and
Yeah.
acting. It worked really
yeah,
well for me. I think thought he
yeah,
was the best part of
yeah.
that show.
Honestly,
Honestly,
I'm
like,
glad he's getting paid, man.
I
Like,
did like
Yeah.
cause
him.
you know what?
I did like when he won the world
My
title from MGF. Like,
yeah,
cause
that was
that's kind of
great.
like that's kind of like because you were there. Were you there live, Hawk?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah,
Because like
when he won the
Joe
title.
winning, that to me was like okay, that's like because I know like Ryan won the title too, and Joe wins the title, and it's like okay, yeah, these are like guys from the like, from my like my big fandom because I love the PWG, I love Ring of
Honestly,
Honor.
personally, like if Joe didn't get hurt so much doing his WWE run, I think he would have been a world
Yeah,
champion by now.
because Vince
Honestly,
Vince
Well,
gave
you
him a
know,
lot
Joe
of
is my
I could
time.
see it. I
favorite.
could definitely see it. I'm biased because I've been following Samoa Joe for a long time, but yeah, like I could see
I
that.
mean,
But
hell,
you
hell,
got to
hell.
Joe
look at
has my
NXT as being the problem.
all
Who
time.
does NXT?
Joe.
Sorry, who does
No, sorry.
NXT
Go
have
ahead,
though?
sir.
Right
Sorry, yeah,
now.
who does NXT have? You have Wes Lee, who's
No,
great, but he's kind of stuck in NXT.
no,
And
I
then
don't.
who,
I don't
like,
think
what is
about
the
him.
future talent of NXT in the men's division right now?
Well,
Yo,
Tell
they're
me.
not going to be
You're gonna tell me
pushed
Triple
with
Charlotte.
Triple
H.
Yeah,
H on
Uma
top, man.
Femi's
It's
gonna
Trick
be.
Williams. It's Trick Williams
It's
Yo,
and
Trick
what
Williams
is
and
Ova
Oba
still in
Femi.
NXT?
yeah.
It's
That,
Trick
that,
Yeah,
Williams and Oba
that's
Femi.
it.
Wes
That's the
Lee
two
has the
that
whole
have.
thing, but he's just stuck.
But like
So
the
yo,
crazy part is that they pulled Carmelo before those two
Oba
when
yeah,
they've
Femi,
been ready for at
well,
least
Oba,
7 years.
now
Oba,
see, Trick
and
needed. No, Trick needed more seasoning. Like
Okay,
they shouldn't have called him up before Melo.
but
That's
he's
it.
now
but Ova
ready.
over Carmelo.
Yes,
I'm
No,
like
I'm not.
because
I'm trying
I
really
mean, you
hard
said
not to
Carmelo, but you're
hold the
not saying
big
Ethan
box
Page. You know what I
against
mean?
Cody
That's the
Rhodes
problem right there.
against Carmelo. Like that was a crazy bot. That like your like that was
dude.
a crazy
That
like that's
buried
almost
Carmelo
Shockmaster
from the
tier
start.
botching.
I don't I don't
That match
That is
buried Carmelo
Shockmaster
from the
tier
yo
start.
botching.
dude I
You
don't
guys
think
don't
that
like Tony D? The Mafia thing won't work on the main
yo
roster.
I don't know how he's not called up yet. He's done
He's been
literally
in there.
The
everything.
Mafia thing
He's
is
pretty
cool. I
good.
like the Mafia thing. The
He's pretty
Mafia thing
good.
works for me. You know.
Yeah, but
I,
I don't know how he's stuck in NXT.
How
He's done
much can
literally
it be
everything
just
there.
storyline shit? Like how strong of a storyline can you make out of? Okay, I've not no NXT, so tell me how strong of a storyline this Tony D guy can make with his shit
The
in
Mafia
WWE.
thing,
Like,
you can make that work
he's an
somehow. You
can
know.
he's
he
an
be like
Italian
Bray
American
Wyatt
stereotype.
adjacent? Can he just be Bray Wyatt adjacent and just lean all the way in and just have like cut scenes that are
He
fucking
does.
Godfather
He
references?
Yeah,
Like,
he
oh,
does
does.
sick.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
That's what
okay,
he
does
great.
that.
does. That's what he
Oh wow,
does.
okay, yeah.
He literally
Like,
Yeah,
All
okay,
right.
he
yeah,
Well,
he
literally
did.
we
had
just
people
gotta
killed.
wait for
There's
Ethan
been
Page
people
to
killed.
hit the roster, right?
There's literally been people
Well,
killed
then the
by
second
him.
question is, can he actually like wrestle at
Yeah,
least enough?
yeah. He's really good.
Like, okay, give
When
me
he
a
started,
wrestler that he's as good as technically.
right now, main roster or
Main
like
roster, yeah, like main roster,
if I could
Like Raw,
if I could compare him to somebody, he's
like on
he
off of Raw.
he's like not as good Braun Breaker because he does
Okay,
suplexes, he does wrestling,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
like
yeah, yeah.
he's not
okay.
crazy athletic like
Are we talking like a middleweight,
no, he's big.
like lightweight?
yeah, he's
Oh,
big.
he's big. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
So he's just okay. He's just not as big Braun Breaker with a shtick. Cool. Okay, I like that.
I would say he's probably better than say LA Knight.
LA Knight is
Okay.
old as hell too.
Like okay.
But in
Can I
LA
say
Knight can
something
go.
for 2 seconds? I'm like I like LA Knight's thing. I don't know. Like his whole thing
LA
is
Knight is not it. Let's be real. LA
He's a
Knight is not
catchphrase.
it.
He's a catchphrase and he's a
LA.
steroid body. He's a body guy. Like
LA Knight would get pushed in like the Universe 617 WWE.
Yeah. Also, I have a personal vendetta
Like
against him just because he almost lost
just
me some money in
I don't
pot.
even care about that. Like I don't even care about like
No, because
that. It's
we
just
were doing it
like
for what's it
his
called?
basic shtick. Where it's just like there's so many people that do the I'm a regular ass dude, but I'm gonna beat
Yeah,
your ass kind of
yeah.
thing. Where yeah,
well,
I'm full of myself. I got ego. Like
Billy
he's
Gunn
doing
did that
like
better.
Diet Rock. He's doing like
Billy
the
yeah,
Gunn
great
did that
value
he's
better.
wish.com rock.
he is a white
And
rock.
it's like,
There's a lot of
yeah,
white
White
rocks they
Rock. Yeah.
have.
I
Let's
didn't want
let's
to
talk
say
about
it. I
Ricky
didn't want to say it,
Saints.
but you said it. Who?
Ricky Saints. Talk about another diet
Yeah, is
rock
that
they got. Ricky Starks.
NXT?
Yo,
Yeah.
nah, but
Okay, great.
he's
Yeah,
not
see,
another Rock man. It's like
I'm realizing why I don't watch NXT.
yo man, he
You
put
got you
Edge.
also
Again,
got
we don't have a lot of
ego.
talent. What's his face? Is Oba's not made it yet? Why is that? So
Oba and
Uh,
Trick are not gonna be on the main roster doing anything as long as Triple H is
Because
there.
they need
Let's
to
be honest.
carry, they need a reason for people to watch NXT. You can't take away
No,
every reason that you watch
no,
NXT.
here's the
but
thing. No, for me, the main reason people watch is Oba. I would argue Wesley as a overall and
Trick.
Ethan Page. But like After that,
But
it's really hard to
but
see who the future of NXT is.
the crazy part too is that they're taking like the crazy part is the male treadmill is okay. We stop these two dudes. They're gonna carry NXT. Now we're gonna treadmill everyone else up to the main roster. But the females, yeah, they're shooting straight in.
Well, you know what the way NXT used to be, dude, is like Adam Cole, Ciampa Gargano,
Yep, yep.
Tyler Bate,
Yep,
and what's his name?
yep.
Pete Dunne. They were stuck
Uh,
there for like years.
yeah,
They were stuck
yep.
there for like years.
And
Like,
just, that was it.
Well, I actually for a lot of those guys, it wasn't that they were stuck; is that they didn't want to move up
yeah,
because
that's
pretty
but
much
that's the
Now,
problem
it's
too,
like
man. I
yeah,
think like
now I'm gonna
if
ask you a
Adam
different question. I
Cole,
want to see.
if Adam Cole and
Yeah.
all them had moved up earlier, I think they'd be better in positions now. Cause like in NXT,
Well,
in like
yeah,
AEW, they're kind of like it's not there anymore
I
because they
mean
lost the name, and it's just like
yeah, I
it's
don't know.
like
It's like it,
whatever.
but if they moved
Well,
up
we actually got
I'll
like
ask you
real
guys a
stars.
I'll
We
ask you
had like
guys a new
real
question.
actual stars. Like we had actual talent in season one. You know what I mean?
yo,
So
I mean,
I'll
come
ask you
on,
guys
like,
a
can
new
you imagine?
question. Like,
Can,
okay, now, all right, I'm gonna ask you guys a new question. Okay,
All right.
so if you take Trick Williams and Obi out of NXT, why are you watching NXT?
Javon
Wesley, that's why I
Evans.
just said it. I just said Wesley.
You're
well,
watching for
If you don't
well,
like
who?
like,
Wesley, then you are not a
Mr.
wrestling fan. I'm
Iguana.
sorry.
yeah,
He
We're
doesn't know
waiting for
wrestling
Mr.
if you're not
Iguana.
a
well,
wrestling
remember,
fan.
according to Mr. Iguana, the WWE wants him in their main
And
roster
Yeah,
ASAP.
yeah, I
I'll
would
ask
do
you a
that too,
second
man.
question.
That dude is
And
very
also,
good.
to answer
Follow up.
Will's question, like I'm
Yeah,
watching NXT for like Ethan Page, Ricky Saints. I
yeah.
guess I'm Jordan Grace if she's still there. Like, I think she's
Yeah,
No,
about.
yeah.
yeah,
Like
She's about to move, isn't she?
I
I
think
think
she
she's
like
will.
about to move.
I
Yeah,
think a
she's
like
lot of
about
even
them
to.
are
old like
about to
the
move.
my defense of like Wesley's like he's a overall great wrestler, but he also brings the exciting off the turnbuckle like crazy flashy stuff too. Like
Now,
he does
part
everything.
Oh yeah,
So
He's
part two of
Wesley
this
is.
Ricochet with
part two of this
hair.
question.
he does
Part two of
Honestly,
this
everything
question is this.
I,
well.
Part two
I,
is this, right? So now you have Trick and Ova on the main roster. What do you do with them? And
oh yeah, I forgot about.
and if you need and who do you put in their place on NXT, including on the main roster?
Well,
Well, the
remember
You
we
look
got
at
problem,
you look
Javon
at
Evans.
what's it called? Evolve. You just look at Evolve and
Remember like
yeah.
Javon Evans has been involved with Trick and Oba for the longest now, so you can just slide
So
right
they got to
in
come
there.
up with them. They
Nah,
have
I'm
to come
sure
up with them,
Evolve will
right?
have
No.
someone that they can throw into NXT, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
evolve.
have. I don't know, man. Like, cause right now the main priority shouldn't be NXT. The main, even though NXT does
Not
get
even close.
they get good ratings. Honestly, they get 800,000 a week. That's good.
They're on network television, so they should get
Yeah.
fucking good ratings.
But like what we look for like in WWE is to see who people who can actually be in the show, right? And I can see
oh, the show that Wade Barrett won. Where is he now?
Yeah, I mean the whole
Yeah,
point of NXT is for it to be like the college ball that we have for like football, right? Like
yeah,
yeah.
that's the whole point.
yeah. That's the
But
whole point. Yeah.
yeah, some
Where's
guys
Wade Barrett now?
I feel like the guys like Ego and Ricky Saints is gonna be there to help the new guys come up, like how what's his name, Sean Spears back Ty Dillinger back in NXT. I feel like
Well,
they're gonna be their roles. I don't
well,
think like
honest.
those two are gonna come up and be
Nah,
because like
I think Ricky's gonna come up, but Sean Spears is staying because
they did
pretty much
because oh
because Sean Spears needs to stay there because like those guys need a veteran to work with.
yeah okay, so the news rumor that came out was they were gonna have Ricky and Ego be the new henchmen for Seth Rollins, right? That was a rumor today. And then Heyman got on social media and said, "Nah."
Yeah, I hope not because like pretty much Ricky and Ethan wouldn't make for good goons.
Oh, they're
I don't
too
even.
like there's so many there's guys on the roster that could be his goons. I mean like but like here
I'm like you need goons like Austin Theory's right there.
A Town Down to be your jobbers, your pin eaters.
Yeah,
Because
Man,
yeah.
you can't
oh
have
my God!
Braun.
Don't even get me look.
You can't
Don't
have
even
the
get
two
me started on.
Brauns. You can't have the two
They need to
Braun and
restart.
Bronson be jobbers. They can't beat the
Yeah, they
pins.
can't have those guys be jobbers. Absolutely
I
not.
still
Like
feel
seriously.
like
Does
Bronson's a secret agent for Bloodline. That's how I feel. I feel like he's a secret. He's like, cause like what's his name?
Yeah, he was a part of
Solo
Solo's bloodline.
Solo acknowledged it. He's like, oh, you're not gonna call me. You're not gonna acknowledge. You're not gonna say where you're coming back. You're gonna join here. But they
that would
never.
keep him at least that would keep him relevant because like my
Yo,
problem with jobbers
Solo
nowadays
is
is
low
that
key
like
one of my favorite guys on the mic because of how like funny he is. Oh, you're not gonna call me?
well
What's up
my
with that?
whole issue with my
Not
whole
gonna
issue
check
with
in?
jobbers in like this day and age is that like they never get like a run where it's just like oh okay, like the whole point of jobbing like if we're looking at like Vegeta right the whole point of Vegeta being
Hey,
essentially a
Vegeta's
eternal
got 3
jobber.
victories over Goku, man. Three
Okay.
Stop.
legit
Stop.
victories.
Anyways, the whole point of I'm sorry. Oh, you know, okay. The whole point of the Z fighters being jobbers is that they have established like strengths, right? It's just like, okay, I know these motherfuckers have like they can put in work. They're gonna do some damage. They're gonna like at worst they're gonna take a motherfucker out, right?
But you
But it's
still
just
don't
like
take them
in wrestling, it's
seriously.
just wrestling.
But you
Well,
don't
no,
take
no,
them
no. That's the
seriously. All right,
thing.
the best thing. No, no, you
That's the
don't take them
thing
seriously. They might
with
have something.
wrestling.
The best example when you
With
say
wrestling,
jobbers, you know what came to
yeah.
mind when you said jobbers?
Stevie
Taka and
Richards.
Funaki. Did they win a title? Maybe they won a title here and there, but no one gives a crap because Taka and Funaki are
So
like joke wrestlers.
I'll
They're
counter
joke
right now.
wrestlers, but they
When I
were
think
Hey
about
man,
over.
I
ultimate
cared about
jobbers, when I
Funaki.
think
I
about
love
ultimate
Taka.
Stop,
jobbers,
David. No one,
no, no,
No,
when I
I
think about
cared
ultimate
about
jobbers, no, no, hold on,
Funaki.
hold on, hold on. Let
He
me
was the
counter, let me
number
counter.
one
When I think about
announcer.
ultimate jobbers, you know what I think about?
no
I
one
think
likes
about prime
Millhouse.
time. Prime time is like it's not a jobber team, but you know what they had? A tag team run because they needed to be
Man,
legitimized.
they should have won the belts.
You can't have
Yes, you're
jobbers that
right.
are
You're
just
They
right
like
should
though.
have. They
Prime
should
time
have.
was great
like
for
your
WWE's
jobbers
race
can't all
relations.
be
Correct.
losers. Your
Yes.
jobbers have to
Remember
win some point.
the
Like the
strap match
Miz.
they
The
had?
Miz is the most losingest
Hey,
wrestler
hey,
on
hey,
the roster
Will,
by
did
number.
did
Yeah, what's up?
did you
Yeah.
ever watch the Crime Time strap match? The Django Unchained match they
Uh,
had?
no.
Like
Oh
I
my
said, prime
God.
time was
Oh
great
my
for race
God, you never
Dude.
watched
relations,
that.
Oh my
obviously.
God, bro. Look, this is Juneteenth. We're recording this on Juneteenth, bro. Don't make me upset.
You
Okay.
brought up
Look.
prime time. Just
Yeah,
to be clear, you brought up prime time.
Crime
You
Time
want I know
ended
prime time. I
Like,
doing
watched
a
hold
the
strap match
10-year
on.
against each
run,
other
so
Listen,
for
that
Massa
man died
McMahon.
saving like a kid, bro. Don't put anything on their name, all right? We're not bringing that up.
Rest in
But
peace, Shad.
Hey
Rest in peace,
man.
yeah,
Shad,
rest in
man.
peace, Shad, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah,
But anyway,
Shad.
It broke my heart
my
they never
whole
won the
point
titles, and then they had to do a strap match for.
my
Oh
whole
man,
point. But they had runs. They had real legitimate runs, which like, oh, we're real
hey,
wrestlers. We're wrestling for real. They were technically competent, but they didn't win because storyline.
they should have
But
won.
yeah, they definitely should have. Like they should have been in the same place that New Day is.
Cause like
Maybe yeah,
if we
they should
want
have
to
been the same
talk
place that New
but
Day
I
is.
will say
consistent
this. Back in
jobber,
the
Oh
sorry, go
man.
on.
it's if we're gonna talk consistent jobber, because I know we all watch Attitude Era, it's Stevie Richards.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, Larry. When you say jobber, that's a
Is
word that
I mean
changes
is Dolph
definition
Ziggler.
depending on who you ask. Like when you say jobber, like I said, the first when Will or whoever I think it was Will that said was brought it up about jobbers. The first thing that
I mean,
came to
I'm
mind
a
instantly,
ruthless
without
aggression
thinking,
guy,
was
so
Talking Funaki. If I actually had to think about it for more than a split second without instinct, what would come to mind? What's his face? Mabel, and Viscera. Instant jobber. But guess
yo.
what? These
Midian.
jobber, yeah, I know. I have a whole bunch of
Maven or
people. But
Mabel?
here's the thing:
Wait, Maven?
jobbers of the
Maven
'90s and
also
early
became a
2000s
jobber.
were memorable.
Yeah, he was
They were
also a job.
jobbers, but they had still had a personality and they were memorable, for better or
Hey,
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
hey,
they were.
The Hurricane,
what you guys know
Midwest
the
about
Hurricane.
Big Vito?
Yeah.
Stop.
Nah.
You know,
Nah, man. The best jobber ever was Barry Horowitz.
How about Nunzio?
stop.
Yeah, man.
Nunzio,
Barry Horowitz, Nunzio, freaking Doink the Clown. Uh,
Doink,
The
hey, whoa,
Hurricane.
relax. Hey, that's fighting words. Doink is not a jobber. Relax,
yo,
relax.
Doink
hey,
is
Yes,
a
the fuck
jobber,
he
man.
is,
You're
dude.
not doing this.
Yo,
You're not doing
when,
this.
yo,
no,
I'm not
wait,
arguing with someone
wait.
who just stuttered right now. And stop. I'm not doing
Doink
this.
Doink was
I'm not
not a
arguing with
jobber.
someone who has a stutter. So I'm
yo,
not
when
doing
he
Doink
it.
went
Doink did not
face,
lose matches.
when he went
Doink won all his
face,
matches.
yo, man,
Yeah, Doink
I
is not a
already knew,
jobber.
Doink
I
beat
knew
Crush
face
at
Doink.
WrestleMania. I
Yo,
will.
I
Yeah, are
already
you
knew, I
crazy,
Doink
already
dude?
beat
knew
And
Bam
Crush
face.
Bam
was big
Bigelow
at the
at
time.
WrestleMania.
Yeah, Doink is not a jobber. You can say the mini Doink, sure, but not
Dink,
Doink
No, I
himself.
said face
Pink.
Doink.
Ding.
Like when Doink was a heel, yeah, he won matches, but when he went face, he wasn't winning.
Oh man.
Hey,
Oh, oh,
even what's his face? Even Mr. Hughes managed to be in the King of the Ring tournament, but does that
Oh
mean he's?
man.
Come
uh,
on.
Yeah,
Come
we're talking
on.
about.
Yo,
Oh, like
yo,
we're bringing up like all these legendary black wrestlers.
Nasty
Viscera.
Boys. Nasty
that's
Boys were
That's a
jobbers, but
whole
they're
no.
memorable.
That's a whole
They're
separate
memorable.
topic for a
Yo, man,
separate
Nasty
day.
Boy. I only know the Nasty Boys from WCW. So like,
Hey,
they were
the
pretty
Nasty
decent
Boys were
then.
not jobbers in WCW. They had
No,
they
I
had
said I only
bangers.
Kind
know them
of.
from WCW. Like, they had a good run there.
Yeah,
When
they
so when
had
you
won
say
the
jobbers,
titles.
they
Yeah,
have to have a
yeah,
personality. Super Giant Ninja had a personality. Yeti had a personality. Like you, if they don't have a
Yeti.
personality,
Virgil.
they're not a real jobber.
Oh man, yeah,
Virgil,
the
man.
Gambler.
Oh
Look,
yeah,
man,
the
you want to talk about
Gambler.
black wrestlers? Black wrestlers is a whole podcast by itself,
I mean, okay,
and
like
how
In the
problematic and
episode we
how
did with
influential.
we talked. I mean, I talked about. Remember, what's his face? Ahmed Johnson. He was
yeah,
like the. I called him like the Black Goldberg. He was
you
like
know,
this undefeated force of nature you just couldn't mess
this
with, and
Muslim
he was like,
wrestler.
"Who is this guy?" When he beat Bret Hart and came onto the scene, it was like, "Who is this guy?" Just steamrolling our best out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
won the
he injured his
Intercontinental
Son
title,
was
knee.
better.
and then like he got his ass beat by Farouk, and Farouk cut some like,
Oh
man, you
yeah,
ever hear those
yeah, yeah,
Farouk Ahmed Johnson?
yeah, yeah.
Oh well, like my brother, like there's something you should watch about like Ron Simmons and Ahmed Johnson in promos. Man, he called him, he called him an Uncle T. He said the only thing
I
black.
mean, were they doing like New Jack promos? Like, hey, look, one less to worry about.
Oh man,
Oh,
no,
oh.
it was
Yeah,
bad,
yeah.
dude.
Oh yeah, that shit was wild. Also, remember like the feud between the Nation and DX, like that started racially. That started like
Yeah, that started
racially
with some
charged.
blackface, man.
Yeah, they had
Are there any
Oh,
female
blackface.
sick.
jobbers?
Yeah, they
On
had
Listen,
the only
okay.
blackface.
female jobber I
Hey,
can think of is
did
maybe
did you
Rosa
ever
Mendez.
Yeah,
see like Triple H with Mark Henry? Like Mark Henry's coming out to the ring in the Nation, right? And then Triple H does like
Bro,
a gorilla dance.
I
Yeah,
never knew
yeah,
they
yeah.
they teamed up. Listen, I
Yep,
never knew they
yep. That
teamed
was a
up.
while
Okay,
ago.
y'all have put me on on top of what I already sort of knew and sort of like
Yo,
heard about. Yeah, man. Yeah.
yeah,
We got to do this again sometime because like at
yeah.
this, well, you know what we need to do? We need to do like a clip show, like a
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
I'm not
because
a
some of
regular
these,
watcher anymore, but I have a treasure trove of just random information.
Memories.
Like I could, probably I probably memorize random Smoky Mountain wrestling matches for no reason, So I'm not an
Hey,
active watcher
well,
these
yeah,
days,
you're
hey,
but
way
who
deeper than I
who
am.
can deny the
right.
gigolo Jimmy Del Rey, right, Zoo?
Oh
Yeah. Oh
yeah.
my God.
Yo, oh wait, yo. Speaking of Smoky Mountain Wrestling,
The
goddamn, like
gigolo
that
with
new.
that dance, yo.
I just you just made me remember that New Jack promo. Like,
Yep. I know exactly. Yep.
Shout out
That was
to
pretty
OJ
crazy. That
Simpson
see that as much as I
as
don't
a
approve,
Shout
I
out to OJ
respect.
Simpson is
Again, I don't respect that
crazy.
promo at all. That promo is I disavow it, but I respect the willingness to just go there. Now we can't do that kind of thing
yo,
anymore.
man,
So
man,
No, we
I like
can. No.
yo.
Never sleep. We can. It's just Triple H needs to get all those ad decals off of the ring and stop being a coward.
Well, you come on,
no
you did
man.
so Will after this episode, please watch it. Type in Smoky Mountain
yeah,
Wrestling New Jack ad
uh,
promo whatever.
Yeah,
Just watch it and you'll see what I mean.
yeah,
So
yo,
watch
if it was
that.
in any of the two or three YouTube documentaries I've seen of New Jack,
Yeah,
I've
it
no,
was.
seen
Yeah, if you've
it.
seen it on
yeah,
Dark Side of the
he's
Ring,
definitely seen it.
they say it on Dark Side of the
Dark
Ring.
Side. I watched the Dark Side of the Ring one. I've seen it then. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just like,
yeah.
but it's
One
just
less
like
to care.
the thing is,
Yeah,
Holy
one less
shit.
to worry
Mustafa Said
about.
and New Jack.
yeah, yeah.
But the
Well,
thing
Mustafa
is, like,
Said.
we can still be edgy. Like the edginess never has to leave. It's just that, like,
Hey,
hey,
like
maybe not,
no,
like maybe
no.
MVP
trim
See,
the
said
edge.
MVP
no,
said N on TNA one time, and he got canceled, even though MVP is black.
yeah,
Like if
Yeah.
anybody could say
I
N,
mean,
it's MVP. So
MVP is about to
yo,
be the Black Paul Heyman. Honestly, he really is.
yo.
Like
I
that
mean,
TNA's
man, he's
biggest
got the
issue
hurt
was they
business
didn't have a
going.
roster. They didn't have a
Also,
roster. I don't want to see what's his face, AJ Storm or whoever, for the millionth time. TNA just didn't have the roster to keep going. They had such a small team, and you know,
I mean,
well,
the hurt business is
uh,
really about to have me trying to watch AEW on purpose on
hey,
HBO Max. Like,
I like Bobby Lashley. I like Shawn. Those two are legends to me. I
yes,
like
yeah, they
they're
are.
MVP.
both
Oh
All
yeah,
three
fantastic
of
Lashley's
them,
the
Austin is
they're
man.
MVP
No,
legends to
too.
me.
don't get me started. Lashley should have been that guy a long time ago. He just kept getting passed over time and time again. Is he like the
You know what? It's
greatest?
like the
But
thing is like
Now
I think
he quit
I think
WWE
Vince was
because Michael Hayes called him the hard R.
Oh
yeah,
well,
yeah,
that'll
yeah.
do it.
But
yeah,
I
and
was
also
about to
his
say
wife at the
like
time too. I think they wanted her to do an angle he wasn't comfortable with.
Yeah, they wanted his wife to like be and like do all these how they were doing like with Charmel and all that stuff. He didn't want his wife to do that,
yeah.
so he just
Yeah,
like I mean like and like that's how I saw him and do Bound for Glory at the end of the year. He did WrestleMania, but then I saw him at Bound for Glory when they came
That
to
lines
LA.
up with about what I thought Bobby Lashley left for. I don't well Shelton. I
Hey,
don't know why Shelton Benjamin left
Bobby could have
WWE.
easily been that guy. You
yeah,
know, he could
they
have been
had those
pushed in
well,
matches with
easily.
Batista and John Cena. That match with Batista with
Yep,
Cena,
yep,
the match with
yep.
Umaga,
I've
yeah.
yo,
always been a big fan of Bobby
Well,
Lashley as
honestly,
like one
pretty
of the
much.
underrated.
Honestly,
Well,
Lashley became like
that match with
he
Swerve
peaked
this
in
year was also
TNA.
pretty good. The match with Swerve was like good, like real good. Um,
well, because Bobby Lashley, like, if you've ever heard it, like, if you ever watched his insight with Vlett, like he's super disciplined. Like he just like eats and then he works out and then he
Yo,
maybe watches some TV and then he works out
yo,
again. And
yo,
Yeah,
like that's
buddy.
all he
yo,
does is like
yo,
work out.
the shit I
that's
never,
why you
That's why
like
he
him, Hazu.
never
yeah,
That's
the
why
shit I
that's why
never
that's
he's
your
like.
idol,
never
huh?
that's why he's never
Yeah,
that's why he
buddy.
looks exactly the same as he did in like WWE SmackDown versus Raw 2007. Like
Yeah,
he
Him
I
and
looks
don't think.
exactly
Lightly.
Shelton,
the same.
him
Yep,
and Shelton
lightly.
they look better than
Yeah,
they did 20 years ago.
yeah,
How
yo,
the
I don't.
hell?
Legitimately,
Do
because
I don't
they
understand.
just kept themselves up
Yeah, I
Like
don't
There's
understand
super
how
also
hard.
Lashley still looks like that when he's pushing
there's
50.
a Samoan
both of
wrestler that
them,
looks better than he did
Yeah,
20 years ago.
they're both pushing 50.
Shelton
I don't
and
know.
Bobby,
Yep.
like are crazy. Like and then like our truth too. Friggin' Ron
No,
Killings is
he
53
is
years
50.
old.
He is
No, our
53.
truth is a freak, dude. Like on top of it, because like you know what it is that WWE. Well, because you remember he was on what TNA or was it?
He
Yeah, he
was in
was in
WWE a
TNA.
long time ago.
No,
He
no,
was
before
basically
that,
in
when he was
WWE
Ron, when
since like
he
the
was originally
90s.
Ron Killings, when he was originally Ron Killings, he was not in WWE. He was in
Yeah,
I
but
want to say
Yeah, no,
TNA.
yeah,
he
no, he
was
wasn't.
in WWE and then he went to TNA.
Yeah,
TNA, yeah, that's right, that's what it was. Yeah,
He
and then
like,
like he was like, no,
oh,
I am
you
not.
should watch his
I'm
promos
Ron
too,
Killings.
because we're
The
talking
truth will
about
set you
Yeah.
free.
black excellent promos. Like he said, like
Yeah.
I got
oh,
fired because I'm black, and he
Yep.
talked about like, yo, the only reason I couldn't be the superstar is because the color of my skin, and he would say that on
And he's
TNA.
doing a variant of that right now.
Yeah,
That's his variant right now.
yeah, he could have been this from the beginning. Like he was kind of this from like when they did the heel turn the first time, and then they had to ruin it by putting him with Miz. Because I could have bought R-Truth by
yeah,
himself, like as a
yeah.
heel.
I didn't like Awesome Truth.
But like all this stuff,
Can't
man,
believe they're
like
banned from wearing the shirts. That's wild. That's a
they
little
really can't wear the
too
R-Truth shirts, huh?
controlling. That's way too. I get the whole you can't be on Twitch thing if you're gonna be that. I can understand, even if I don't agree with it. But not wearing the T-shirt, that's like wow. They really have these
Not
people on
wearing the
short leash. Like
T-shirt that you're selling
wow.
on the shop.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like that is talk about short leash. Oof.
Because like if they're saying like this is really like they're just making him work the last like 90 days of his deal, right? So like he
Yeah.
could literally
Yeah.
show up in AEW, Ron Killings has his own shit, and it would be funny to me, honestly. I think
So
Well,
that's
it
Will,
wouldn't be that crazy because this is a wrestling era now where it's just like, okay, people are fighting for their IP. Like they're
yeah.
fighting for their name. They're not gonna like Indy Hartwell has her shit.
I was
Like
kind of surprised that Jeff Cobb changed his name to JC Mateo because
right?
like Jacob
Yo,
Fatu kept his name and like
yo,
Oh
right.
my,
no. What
I
I
haven't
know,
heard that in so long. Wait, that
yeah,
reminds me. Will, how long have you been watching wrestling? If curious, like when did you start?
Like 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 I said earlier, Ruthless Aggression was really where I locked on because I wasn't allowed same way I wasn't allowed to watch like Pokemon and stuff.
Oh
So I
wow,
didn't
oh
really get
man, was it
onto it
the
until like my
devil?
holy
stepdad.
cow!
Were you not allowed to watch Pokemon because of the?
Very much so,
Because you're talking
very
about what's
much.
his face. We're talking about our truth, and then you mentioned him as. So you know him as Ron Killings, right?
I so the first time that could because like when I watched wrestling, when it was like Ruthless Aggression era. No, that was our truth. Like that was
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like I
So I
never
don't know if you've
knew until
seen.
like recently that he ever had a TNA run and that he had
Yeah.
a heel TNA run at that.
Yeah,
Like I
Oh
didn't hear
it
wow.
about
was
that.
So I'm
him,
about to blow your
Conan, and
Yeah,
mind.
Road
yeah,
So I
yeah.
Dogg.
after this episode,
So much
please do me a
Conan in this
favor.
episode.
Watch in 2001. He had a great tag team match when he was called K Quick with Road Dogg
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
Edge
yeah,
and
yeah,
Christian.
yeah. That's his
Fan,
other
have you
name.
seen it?
Yeah, I
K
never
Quick.
watched any of that.
No,
Yeah,
that's a
dude.
match I think you really should watch. It's probably his best match to date, in my opinion. Him and Road Dogg versus Edge and
He
Christian.
he also
Incredible. This is 2001.
he has a match.
Fantastic match.
He has a match with AJ Styles from like 2005. That's pretty good. Um,
AJ Styles. Yeah, I remember that name.
You remember it? Yeah.
I've not heard
Yeah,
that in a
one of
while.
the phenomenal AJ Styles. Like, man, this is
I'm
this
not
is
even
fun,
gonna lie.
guys.
AJ Styles is another one where it's just like that same era that like Batista, Cena, Orton
TNA
were
man.
coming up. Styles should have been coming up. Like Styles should have been like a staple.
I mean,
I
He
really
wasn't st-
truly
no, he
believe.
was more than a staple. He was the whole reason TNA even lasted as long as it did. But again, I got me and everyone else in the world. Maybe you got Pauk and Larry can speak to this more because I want to know what they think. But didn't you guys
You
get
mean
sick of
Doc?
seeing Kurt Angle?
Who's
Yeah,
Larry? Is Doc?
I
didn't you
wish
get sick of seeing Kurt Angle and AJ Styles and the main as the main event every freaking week
No,
for
not
that
really.
TNA?
it was kind of
Uh,
like it was all right. Like I
That's
love
why TNA died. That's all they had.
like because TNA the style there was like because I watched AJ Daniels Joe when they would go like Alex Shelley Chris Sabin when they'd go to like Loki when they go to PWG, right, and the
Yeah.
matches they would sell, they would do all this, but like when you watch on TNA nobody sells,
Yep.
move. And like when I watch Kurt Angle, I also think like, okay, he was all right there. But like the matches with
On the
Sting with
X
Kurt
division.
Angle, that's where I was like, okay, Kurt Angle versus Sting, that's the match I like. I like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I agree with Zoo. Like I got tired of it eventually. Yeah, like
yeah.
they had a great. They always have great matches with
But it
each
was like
other, but
every
it's just
week.
like
It was
yeah, it's
every
every
week. Like
week.
the Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle had less matches with each other, but they were more impactful for me.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like that
Yep.
cage match they had where Joe won the title. Oh
yeah.
my
Oh,
That's
right,
god.
right,
that's my favorite
right.
Kurt Angle match.
Yeah. Kurt, cause like,
That's your wait. That's your favorite Kurt Angle match? Not when
Yes.
he freaking slammed Shane through that 20-foot drop, and
oh
then
Yo,
yeah.
remember he
the Shane
slammed it.
match is
He did the
overrated,
angle
man.
drop through the glass 3 times in a row. Come on, that's got to be everyone's favorite.
Well, like
Nah. I
I
like
also
that
really
match,
like
but it's
the,
overrated.
cause Kurt Angle had like a New Japan run too, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Oh
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah.
he
Yeah.
has like he has matches with Tanahashi, with Nakamura, and like my favorite
Mhm.
match is Yuji Nagata at a Wrestle Kingdom. Like
Oh
I don't
wow.
like it was the main event where they were like combining because Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar left New Japan with the belt, and
Yeah.
then they had a tournament, and then like Yuji Nagata won the belt eventually, and then Kurt Angle ended up beating Brock Lesnar for the original belt, and then they had like a unification match at that Wrestle
Yeah.
Kingdom for the belt,
Yeah,
and it's
the way that Angle told it is like, when he beat Lesnar for the belt, pretty much New Japan contacted him. It was like, yo, we want you to drop the belt to one of our guys. And like, yeah, sure, no problem.
yeah, if you because like
Yeah,
and then TNA would air like the Wrestle Kingdom, they call it Global Impact, but they'd
yeah,
air it like on like a special, and then like I'd watch. That's how I watched it. That's how I watched it with the English commentary, but I watched it live with the Japanese commentary, and the match is like it's completely different from what he did in TNA. It's more like
Yep, yep.
because like you watch it, he's like it's WWE Kurt Angle selling, talking to the crowd, doing submissions, and like Yuji
Yeah.
Nagata. I love Yuji. He's one of my favorite wrestlers to use in WCW Revenge.
Did he have a 6-star match there?
No, that so
Okay.
like
Are we going
in the
Cornette
two
standard
thousand
or what?
in the 2000s, Dave Meltzer did not give 5-star matches to like
Oh, right,
everybody.
right, right. That's true. Yeah,
That
yeah.
wasn't
That's
until
true.
like
Yeah.
2010s when he's like 6 stars, 7 stars, 5.5 stars. Like
Yeah, that that changed. It's back. It's like back when I remember. It's like in gaming when Famitsu 40 out of 40 meant something
Yeah,
because it never happened, and now it's like every yeah.
yeah. Cause
So.
cause like
I mean,
now,
like, then that's why I never liked the Famitsu. Like, I always liked the. Oh my God, what was it?
All right, we can't
What
bring.
was the
Yeah, I'm sorry.
YouTuber
Take it
where it
back.
was like,
Ignore what I said, Will. We
buy
can't
it.
talk about gaming. We're gonna be here for
Well,
another
we
3 hours.
can real quick.
if
Like, that's what
if
I
we
was about
talk
to say. Like,
gaming,
I was always a. I can't remember the YouTuber or the
I,
channel, but it was like it was a buy it, wait for it, fuck it kind of
damn,
thing. You know,
I was a Game Pro kid, so there was
Game
like
Pro
Game
was
Fight
Pro.
cool.
Yeah,
Factors,
Game.
okay.
The real ones know. The real ones know. Game Fan was where it's at. So
Game
back in the
Fan,
day. Game
SWAT
Fan. See,
Who?
the
Pro.
real ones know. Game Fan is where it was at. I would say Sega Visions, but I'm biased, obviously. But
Yeah, I'm a
Game
Nintendo
Fan was
Power
They
where it was
kid.
must have
at.
sold those at the bodega. They must have sold
Uh,
those at Dollar General.
uh,
Hey
like
man,
Game Fan was
I
hey
gotta
it.
wait,
go. I gotta go to sleep now. So
I
Yeah, all right.
I thanks.
I
I'll
gotta go
talk to
too.
you
I
guys.
guess. All right. Yeah.
All right,
All right.
guys. Thank you for coming on, man. This has been a cool like travel down memory lane. We gotta do this
Yeah,
again.
I look. We can keep going. We can keep going. I'm like
All
off the
right.
next
Hey,
2 days,
hey, yo,
so yeah, I'm
hey,
up.
Dave, hey,
I
yo,
can't keep
Hawk.
going. So
Because I
yeah.
didn't do this for like our show. I'm gonna ask you what would you want your rainbow to say?
What, my rainbow?
Yeah.
What?
Yo. Pause.
I
If a ra- if a rainbow showed up and said like, "Hey, yo, it's a message from you," what would it say?
Pause.
Pause.
This
I I don't even know what to
First
say
of
to
all,
this
that.
month.
Like,
You asking about a
pause.
rainbow this month?
yeah.
Hey, it's Pride Month.
I yeah. We support it, but interesting timing.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what I would want to say to a rainbow. I don't know.
Like, imagine like a message in the sky appeared from you. What would it say? Hello?
I, I got no idea, man.
Oh man, you got no.
I
Clean
wouldn't
clean
know.
AirPods.
No.
That's crazy.
Hey, I mean, I'm
Uh,
short, but if I get the alley oop, I'm gonna dunk.
All
So
right,
uh,
that's your rainbow zoo. Oh yeah, congrats on the top eight in Street Fighter Super Turbo.
all right.
oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Man. It was great. It was great talking to you guys. Let's do it again.
All right, thanks
Sorry for
guys.
joining late. I was watching
I
No
game
man,
six at the bar.
you joined us right at us informing Will about the lucha, so
Oh my god.
you were able to give me context to help him like understand like what the world of lucha is and how it kind of is kind of tied to the
Yeah, that was super helpful. That was
CARTELS,
super
you
helpful.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like lucha is dangerous and it's my favorite thing. So, but yeah, man.
Careers are not long lived for a reason.
Yeah, like
Stars burn bright, but not for long.
if you want to look up something, look up Abismo Negro, the first one.
Ooh,
Abysmal Negro, huh?
ooh,
Oh yeah, look up
That.
that story. That's a freaky story. Because Zoo knows what I'm talking about.
yeah. Ooh, I don't. Yeah, that was interesting.
So basically,
You're
he's a
giving the
wrestler.
oof that I gave when I watched New
No,
Jack
no, no. It's a good in a
do
good way.
some
I think
harm.
it's just gonna, you know, yeah. Just watch it and you'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Abismo Negro he's like a wrestler, right? But
Yeah.
when you're in Mexico, you're gonna party. So allegedly, the story is he partied one night, and like they're trying to call him, Conan's trying to call him to like, where are you for the show, right? And then like a week later, they found him face first in a ditch,
Yep.
with his mask on, and like
Yeah.
they didn't say he was murdered. They didn't have any investigation, but I mean, it looked like a typical execution kind of thing. Lucha Libre. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. There's stories that Rocky Romero told about like how when they would go on the
Wasn't it
buses.
labeled as like drowning or in a pool or
Yeah,
something?
he drowned in a dry ditch. I don't know how that
Oh
happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
They said he drowned in a dry
Rip.
ditch.
I mean, it was in like a cartel area. I forgot where, but it
Yeah.
was like a cartel area. So I mean,
And then, do you want to know the story of like why Stephanie Valkyrie wanted to go to WWE
oh
over
my,
like over
jeez.
AEW first? So
You
so
know what?
AEW
That
and
sounds
WWE
cool.
so AEW and WWE were fighting over her, right? and like she had this thing where her ex-boyfriend, beat her almost half to death, and
Okay.
she like basically went to the police, reported it, and then like basically the locker room of CMLL and the locker room of AAA
Hmm.
basically turned on her and told her, hey, like, we don't like you. Why are you snitching? It's not snitching if you get abused, but she was abused. So whatever. The whole thing, like, okay, WWE and AEW are fighting over her. She took less money from WWE. But like also if you go to the WWE, you have a fast track to the United States. As Zoo knows, because they have like so many like foreigners, and because they have the fast track with the immigration.
Yeah, I mean they're supposed to, and but when you hold grudges and everything about these type of things, like you can understand why CMLL and New Japan would be upset, but you would think like, all right, AEW is not going to be all immature about this kind of thing, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
They kind of released the messages like they said, oh, she took a lower offer to go there, but I'm like, man, this is kind of dirty if you like
you
learn
think you're
about.
not going to be, you think this person's not going to be petty? Well, when they are petty, it really hits you,
Yeah,
and yeah,
because wrestling gets really petty. Like when
super petty.
we're seeing like these things like coming or released because they'll say Ricky and all them took lower money to go to WWE, and like,
Hmm.
is that true? Is that false? All that you have to do is like, why are these wrestlers going to talk about their contract issues? This is coming out from somebody else saying like, oh, they took less money to go there because of course they're going to say that. Like they're going to say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we didn't need Ricochet here in WWE, so like go ahead and have him because he's trash. Like
Sour grapes.
this is what happens. You're it's kind of funny being like if I compare this to like Attitude Era, like when dudes would go from ECW, WCW, WWF, you wouldn't really like get this shit. You'd be like, oh, that's dope, that's cool. I wonder where everybody else is gonna be. But like nowadays, it's like everybody's talking shit,
But that
no
was
matter.
different. Like back in those days, there was like an unspoken, or maybe it was, maybe Eric Bischoff and McMahon did have a lot of business contracts. I don't know, but like there's an, at least to the fans at home like me, an unspoken understanding that like there's a revolving door between ECW and especially WCW and WWE. They go
Yeah,
back and forth, or specifically. All right, I'm unhappy with you, Vince. I don't like you, Vince, for whatever reason. You know what? I'm gonna take my ball and go home. AK, I'll go to WCW, get a little quick bag for like a month, a year, whatever,
yeah,
a few years, and then I'll come back to WWE,
yeah,
and everything will be fine.
yeah.
That was
Unless,
like right, the unspoken understanding, like this is
yeah.
how it is.
So
It
because
was accepted.
some guys would go like, because like Stevie he went from ECW to WCW back to ECW and then to WWE. Or like Raven would go ECW,
Yeah,
WCW, WWE, back to ECW,
yeah.
and back to WWE. It's like it
Crush
seemed
too,
like,
right?
huh? Crush, yeah,
Crush too. If wasn't he like he was like the orange jumpsuit guy? I remember him from the Coliseum WrestleMania, and then he was like the prison dude in
yeah,
WCW, and then he
yeah.
came back.
Because he would jump, he jumped like to, because some guys would spend like a little bit in the because ECW was sort of like the Vince McMahon paid Paul Heyman. Paid Paul Heyman to develop wrestlers for him. And like Paul Heyman would like tell his wrestlers go to WWE, and he'd always bury WCW on his broadcast. So like,
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just looked at the time. I do have to head out. I hope that's all right. Is that
yeah,
cool?
man, yeah, Zoo,
All
like,
right.
thanks, man.
We got to do this again and with like a longer time limit because we could just yap for a while.
Yeah, man, we were waiting for you, bro, because like we were
Oh, I'm
talking for
sorry.
like
I'm
Yeah, we
sorry.
were.
I'm sorry if I was holding it up. I
no,
apologize. I didn't know it
you
was
weren't
like
holding it
actually
up.
happening. I thought you were waiting for Epi, and I'm like, oh, if Epi doesn't show, we're not going to do it. That's what I thought. Then when you guys, oh, are you
Nah,
ready
nah,
to
nah.
go? When you guys like, oh, are you ready to go? I'm like, oh crap, I'm at a bar with my friends watching the game 6 of the NBA. So sorry.
That's cool, man. Are we going to game
Ain't no
Yeah,
worry,
seven? I
man.
thanks
Don't
didn't
worry,
know.
Abby.
for inviting me on. Will, it was great talking. I'll see you guys whenever you do this again in the
Yeah,
future
bro.
to invite and have me cause more chaos. All right, good chat though.
Yeah, Zoo, man.
See ya.
Yeah. Hey, so well, now we can talk about great black. We're gonna talk about some black excellence right now because the chaos is
Oh
gone.
shit! Hit me with it. Hit me with it.
So I want to tell the audience it's Juneteenth. In the
Yeah, and
middle,
you got a black guy here right
yeah,
now,
yeah, 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 yeah.
so
Cause
you
like,
may as well do it.
yeah, so on this day we had they celebrated as part of the emancipation of all, the slaves. And like in this current in this current world, in this current America, it fucking sucks. No matter what color you are. But I do want to celebrate, like, the people who came here involuntarily and who were able to carve their own culture and make their own like way. And like I'm happy that we still celebrate this as a federal holiday, man. Because I get this off. But also it's important, right? I feel like it's important to celebrate. Um
It is okay. Okay, you want to hear my full thoughts about it?
oh
Okay.
man, are you gonna be
You want to
thirsting
hear
on
people
this?
try and take my black card from me?
Oh man, are you gonna be thirst?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay, okay. So it's very much similar to how, when people say, "Oh, hey, Martin Luther King Day is not a day off; it's a day on. You need to be doing something about it." I
No,
really feel the same about Juneteenth. Um,
I just
I
like federal
haven't found the
holidays.
channels. I haven't found the channels yet to to act upon it, right? But Juneteenth is definitely a day on where it's just like, hey, listen, you can be excited. Hey, this is the day that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. This is a day celebrating, when the slaves were freed legally. But that being said, I don't know. I don't know if there's another day for when the final, USA slave was freed. I don't know when that is
We're still not free, man.
because, like, I mean, like, well, you've had stories, right? You had stories up until like the 80s, 90s, where
People
like
were still living on the
people didn't
plantation.
fucking know.
They were still
People didn't
living on the
fucking know.
plantations, man.
Yeah, yeah, and they've been living like two generations past Juneteenth, the original June, the OG Juneteenth.
Yeah.
And it's just it hits your ear and you go, that's insane. But you're thinking about that from a modern perspective when you think about it from a 18 some shit perspective where you go, well, shit, think about it. Like people didn't get information as quickly as they do now. On
Yeah.
top of that, like if you like I have to think about it like this, right? If some dude in my neighborhood was, putting slaves to work with today's sensibilities, somebody is calling on him. Hey, listen, hey, they calling 911. Hey, listen, man, I don't think it's like a crazy emergency, but my next door neighbor, he has like a nightstick and he keeps telling these two black people to, field his crops.
Oh, yo.
Like you dig what I'm saying?
Cause
Like
yeah, cause I know you're from
like
Atlanta, right?
the 911 call sounds crazy nowadays.
Yeah. Cause I know you're from Atlanta, and that's the South.
Yeah.
Um, and like I did just read an article about like how people still had these people living on they had slaves still like in the 50s and 60s 70s up to the 80s, like people were still like tilling the crops and living life like that, and it's like
It's the same way that
that's crazy.
Vietnam and World War II had people that were still fighting the fight. Not from our side, but from like Vietnam had Vietnamese, Viet Cong that were still doing Viet Cong shit
Yeah.
past when that was due, and same for World War II
Hey, that Japanese dude in the
until
Philippines,
yep.
yo, that's crazy to me still. And like you're right though, man. Like it's an arbitrary day that like kind of people.
I think
It's
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 important to recognize it, but
yeah,
I think once we get because we just got recognition of it in the past 8 years, right?
yeah.
I think within the next 10, we're gonna be treating Juneteenth like Arbor Day.
I think
Absolutely.
it's gonna be Black people Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. Yeah, actually, yes. Because like no one's gonna get the time off for it. No one's gonna get a day off for it. But it's gonna become like, okay, for people who this matters to, hype. For people
I
who don't care, they might partake. Like, you're gonna have
I
black people
just
grilling out, block parties, blase blase, but you're gonna, white, Hispanic, Chinese, other ethnicities pull up and be like, hey, let me get a rib plate real quick. And do
yo,
like you're gonna have some people going to like Atlantic Station and setting up like a solid little shop and a couple solid little shops. Hey man, let me get some chitlins real quick. I
let
don't know how
me
to cook
let
those.
me just let me just go to Magic City and
Yeah, like well, that's gonna be the wrong end of it, right? Where it's just like, oh yeah, black people were freed on this day. Well, let me give my money back to black people. I'm going to Magic City. I'm going to fucking whatever the fuck bullshit strip club in Atlanta. Like,
yo,
and it's just like.
let me talk to Uncle Luke about the
Right, right,
yo,
right,
yo.
right. It's just like I think yeah, there's a lot of work that can be done Juneteenth. For example, I think that Juneteenth, Martin Luther King Day,
Yeah.
and days similar, those like B tier holidays similar would be well served as
Um
being, volunteer days. Like, hey
yeah.
man, I
Cause
woke up Juneteenth morning and I said, hey yo, I'm off of work. Ah, fuck it, I'm gonna go feed some homeless people.
yeah, cause recently for my people, I'm Filipino,
Yeah.
we had like the Larry
Filipino,
yeah.
what are you? Wait, wait, wait. You got to educate me because I'm American, so I have Mexican holidays, sort of. I've got Muslim holidays, sort of, and I've got whatever bullshit white people celebrate
Yeah.
and black people.
So like um Filipinos, right? We're not
Yeah,
recognized, even though like we were an American colony, 1899, because we were sold from the
yeah,
Spanish to the Americans.
yeah.
We are part of this history of this country, but we're always like neglected. Like
That makes
like you
sense.
guys, we're also like when we were brought over to work like in the fields, but we're working in like in the sugarcane fields.
Yeah.
Hawaii was also taken over by America, stolen. That's what I say, it was stolen.
Yep.
We're
It
working in the sugarcane
absolutely was.
fields.
Yeah.
We're working in Alaska. Also, Alaska was stolen. We're working in the canneries. We're working like in the fields, in the farms, whatever, strawberries, cabbages, whatever. Um, but we're not treated as a part of the fabric of this country, even though we were a big part of this country up into like even past World War II, where like they'd go to the Philippines during World War II to help free us from Japan. They tell the people, the guerrillas there, hey, you help us fight, you join our navy, we'll give you the same benefits. But they didn't give anybody that fought the Filipinos who fought with the Americans, they didn't give them any benefits until like so many of them died. Like 2018, you think about 2018 World War II, all those guys are like 22, 12, whatever, and now they're like 80 years old, and it's only when they're 80 they're getting these recognition. They have like a
Yep.
statue in like downtown LA with
And like,
like all that
I mean,
stuff.
I think about like my granduncles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm using the familial term
great uncle.
correctly. Yeah, great uncle. Like I have multiple great uncles that like all three of them went to Vietnam.
Yeah,
And one of them that got to come back because of that Solomon doctrine. You know about that?
what's that, man? Let's talk.
So
I,
the
I want to I
Solomon,
want to make
so
this
the
clear to
Sol,
you, Will, because like
yeah.
this is perfect because all of my shows get political. we talk
So
about this shit too.
I'm
We talk
not
about the
I'm
real
not
real.
I'm not trying I'm
No,
not
no,
trying to
no.
get
We
current politics, but I'm explaining a thing that happened. So all right, I'm gonna
yeah,
explain
we
the thing
talk
that happened, right?
history. We talk about history a lot.
Dirty, right?
Yeah,
The Solomon brothers, there were like four Solomon brothers in the 50s. I want to say it was the 50, I want to say it was between World War II and Vietnam. I want to say it was they were Korean War, right?
yeah.
So basically, four brothers, right? They were all Solomons, right? And they were all put on the same submarine. That submarine got fucking shreked, right?
Oh,
And
like
so,
like
yeah,
in
yeah, yeah. So that,
Saving Private
so
Ryan.
yeah.
All right.
So it's just like when you do that, it's just like you don't think about it, but it's just like, oh, when you put everybody in a family on the same sub, oh, that whole family's bloodline is deceased. Like that's it, that's the end of it. So there was a doctrine or created, right? Which is
Yeah.
basically like, okay, when it comes to a draft, they cannot draft everybody from a family. So
Oh.
like there's me, I have a younger brother. Oh, sorry. I have a younger brother.
Yeah.
um, I'm already a veteran, so even if we went 30 years down the line, I'm already a veteran.
Yeah.
I would still go. My brother would not. And that's because of the Solomon brothers. So the Solomon brothers saved so many people from having to go get drafted.
That's crazy.
But that being said, and that's a they have a Wikipedia page you can see
Mm.
that has more detail than I gave. I gave my drunk synopsis. I might be slightly wrong, but I
It's all
have
right.
the broad strokes. I have the broad strokes correct. Basically is yeah, a whole family of dudes was put onto a submarine. They got blown the fuck up. The government was like, "Hey, yo, shit, we can't do that." So they
Yo.
gotta leave one. They gotta leave one family member behind that can't get drafted. It's always the youngest, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
And yeah, he can't get drafted. Yeah. It might have some wild shit when it comes to his offspring, but the broad strokes is if there's you, your younger brother, they can't send both of you. They will not draft both of you. So whenever Iran, Israel pops off to the point where the US is drafting niggas, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
drafting people,
You're
they're
free
not
to
gonna
say,
draft.
man. You're free to say it. I
Sorry.
can't say it.
I've been holding back. I slipped my bad. But whenever this current conflict that's sort of brewing for the U.S.,
Yeah.
if it gets to the point where we're drafting people, they're not drafting entire families. They're not killing entire bloodlines.
Yo.
That's the long and short, right?
Yeah.
But we can keep on past that because, like, yeah, like you said, we might get political, we might get historical, but we don't have to, so we can move past it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like, yeah, man. When I think about like, so the Filipino holiday they have is like a Larry Young Day. You don't take a day off for that, right?
Yeah.
Because Larry Young, he's the guy that like gathered the Japanese, Chinese, Hawaiians
Hmm.
together to be like the union, a union to unionize. And like, so he got up with Cesar Chavez. They hooked up, and Cesar Chavez had that momentum because of Larry Young. But you never hear about Larry Young in any of the Cesar Chavez books.
No, you sure don't. You hear? I've heard Cesar Chavez, not the second name. No,
No, you
but
see
I'm the type. I'm definitely gonna end up looking at what was his name again?
Larry Young, Itliong. Um, look him up. He's like he was able
Yep,
to get
found him.
all he was able to get all the farm workers together.
Glasses.
The glasses, cigar, looking.
Yep,
Yeah, he was able to
yep.
basically unionize all the farm
Seven
workers
fingers.
so they could like yeah, seven fingers because he lost when he was working. Um and like I think about these stories of those guys who are like lost to history and like who writes history. I mean, the white people write the history and they want to highlight the people that they want to highlight. Um and
So okay. So as a person of color, and you as a Asian, or Oceanic, because I can't remember which one Philippines falls into.
I'm
Um,
Southeast Asian, bro.
yeah, Southeast Asia. Yeah. So my main thing is that you guys, honestly, in the US can operate the same as Black people have been, where like we've been operating in a place where we tell our history, we tell our stories, we don't
Yeah.
care who the fuck is talking about it, we just tell it,
Yeah.
right? So like you have movies like Glory, movies like Hidden Figures, movies
The
like what's
help.
another one? I can think of? The Help, where it's just like even that third one, it might seem like, oh yeah, Octavia Spencer's just a maid, but no, she's fucking way more than that because that's what we were doing,
Yeah.
and these are like maybe not completely taken from account, but they are amalgamated from account. And I feel like people from Southeast Asia, people from those sort of
Yo,
places where, an average American might look at might look at, the name of a place like, where the fuck is Laos? Who the
yeah,
fuck is Laotian?
yo, you did you watch the Sympathizer?
No, I just knew a Laotian from my time in the National Guard.
Yo, like, cause like, yeah, man,
But
there's
I,
all
I, I
these,
almost, I was about to watch the, what is it, The Art of Killing, or yeah.
yeah, yeah, that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that's very like next door to to Laos, right?
yeah, like, cause when you think about like these stories, right, where America is
Yeah,
involved, cause in all these like the Iran Contra conflict, going to like Southeast Asia where there was the Khmer Rouge, the
yeah.
Vietnam War, going to the Philippines and like taking out the Moros, cause like you know about that, right? Where like,
Because U.S. world history, we skipped from Vietnam War to Cold War.
yeah,
So we don't go into any of the quote unquote minute conflicts that were going on.
yeah.
Like I cannot tell you from my, social studies book what was going on in Southeast Asia or Asia in general during Cold War era. Like that was
Yeah.
just Cold War, America. This is what America was dealing with, and that's it.
Oh, so
Um,
you know
yeah,
why? Okay, so you know why there were so many Filipinos that came over in the 80s? Because I know
I
Atlanta
couldn't
has
tell
some.
you.
So I know Atlanta
Atlanta
has
has
like,
a ton. Oh my God, Atlanta has plenty. Atlanta has so many Asian people.
yeah,
Like Atlanta has multiple. I won't call them Chinatowns, Asia towns.
yeah, because like you have people,
Like Duluth. If you ever come to Duluth, Duluth is one, and
yeah,
then there's others sprinkled throughout Metro Atlanta. But yes.
yeah, because like when I think about like American history and like what I learned about in my schooling, I'm like, this
Hmm.
is stuff I learned on my own because I love history. Shout out to Hardcore History. Shout out to Simple
Yes,
History.
sir.
Shout out, I
Shout out to
like.
drunk history.
Shout out to drug history. I love drug history when they talked about like how Hawaii was stolen from the natives because of the dull
Like I love
pineapples.
it. I love it when a publication or a product can get the facts right while
Yeah,
making it entertaining. Yes,
yeah.
that is
So
important.
drunk
That's so important.
history, they always want to make sure everything is corrected and they'll correct it even though they're drunk or what. I love that show. It's a good
Yep.
show.
Yep.
Um,
Right.
But like there's some things like when you talk about Filipino history, you talk about the toppling of Marcos. Marcos had the martial law in 1965, and he was approved to
Mhm.
do that from the U.S. government because he was a lot of people say like he was kind of like assigned by the U.S. government to because like they want to control Philippines was like a base place because so like I'm not sure if like you have like other relatives that like were also in the military. They always get stationed in Philippines, Subic Bay, and all that stuff. So like just like when
No,
I
but I've heard similar. Yes.
yeah, so when I hear about like history, African American history, Asian American history, like we're pretty much we're like a block of text in the textbook if we're lucky, right?
I'll put it to you like this, right? So, um, when I was coming up in middle and high school, right? Middle school, eighth grade, we had Georgia history.
Yeah.
High school, we had overall geography, and then like condensed down to essentially American history. But it's just like we never got like there's so much world history that like if you don't, I'm not calling like alright, so it's like this. I'm a trivia nerd. I never call myself the smartest person in the room. That means I'm in the wrong room, right?
Yeah.
But that being said, I definitely can recognize when I'm in a room full of people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And so I've been in plenty of those rooms, especially post 2020, where it's just like, no, you motherfuckers don't understand how the fucking world works, or will work, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, I can look and go, okay, because like when I look at my gaps in history, and again, I'm not claiming to be the smartest motherfucker out here.
Yeah.
but I have to
Yeah.
look at my knowledge gaps and try to fill them somehow,
Mm.
right? So that was my goal for a minute. It's like, okay, I don't know shit about Asia during this period, and it turns into a lot of colonialism, fighting against that, taking
Very
over your
colonialist.
own, and then becoming autocratic.
Yeah. That's what happens all
Yeah,
the time. You get because Philippines actually their Independence Day is July the 4th of July. That's
yeah,
one officially recognized because America came
no
there.
shit.
They freed us on the 4th of July. There's a different day. I don't know off the top of my head because I'm on my phone and I don't really want to look. I mean, I'm gonna look it up. Fuck it.
Look, I'm a dumb, USA, and I don't like to say American too much because America includes, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, Brazil,
Yeah,
Uruguay,
cause
Paraguay. Like so many countries are American. I like to say USA, and
yeah,
that's a lot more specific.
yeah, cause like when I
You know,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
so June 12th is the June 12th 1888. That was supposed to be when Philippines was freed from Spain, right? Nah, that's when they got sold to the United States. And then we got taken over by Japan, and then America came back and they quote unquote freed us on July the 4th, 1945, 46. And and ever since then we've been their little buddies. There's there's like there's like so much of this weird history when we talk about like, are we really free? Do we really
Well,
matter?
the crazy part is we say weird history, right? But
Yeah,
the
it's just
U.S. still
history.
holds a crazy claim on Guam.
Yeah,
Crazy
dude.
claim on Guam. And
That's
it's just
so
like
crazy.
Guam, Philippines, may as well be talking about the same territory, right?
Yeah,
Southeast Asia, Oceania. I feel
yeah.
like
Shout out to
basically
Jeff Cobb.
Oceania, I feel like, yeah, like I feel like that's all encompassed in Southeast Asia.
Yeah,
I don't feel like any of that belongs to Australia, us, none of that shit. But
Australia is a colonizer island. Um,
straight up,
like there's so many like you talk about how the First Nations people of like Australia, I think that's what they call themselves, because I think the other word I don't want to say it because I don't want to hurt people because I don't hurt
I get
people.
you. I get you. I get you.
Yeah,
I
because
don't
like
have the knowledge on Australia myself to know what non-Aboriginal colonial colonizers would call
yeah,
themselves.
because like when I think
I
about you,
mean, the simple word we can run back to is colonize, like because Australia had motherfuckers on it. There were
yeah,
people there,
they
and
had
then
people
other
there.
people came and colonized it. So it's just like we can use the colonizer term on Australia. That's not a question. That's not a question. It's
Yeah,
more a statement of facts.
shout out to you, Frosty. Um, it's it's like like
Love you, Frosty. You're
doing
great. Look, Frosty, you're great when it comes to 40K, when it comes to a lot of things. You're a smart, funny man, but goddamn.
like we could talk about the colonizers and all that stuff, like, because it's kind of fucked up. It's fucked.
But this was supposed to be a wrestling podcast.
It's so
Well,
yo, like,
I don't
let
know.
me tell
This is gonna
you.
get snipped off the end of it. This is gonna snip off the end of it, I'm
No, no,
sure.
no, no. I keep it on because, like, let me tell you what I talked about
Oh,
on here.
word? Okay, yeah, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
go
talked
ahead.
about we talked about speaking out, like the rape allegations and all that stuff. I talked about one of
Against Vince, yeah.
yeah. I talked not just against Vince, like in the whole wrestling sphere. I talked about that with
Oh
somebody.
yeah, okay, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
talked about uh
So, all right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a thousand with you. I don't
are you
know
sure?
any allegations outside. Be a thousand. I do not know any allegations outside of Vince. Yeah, I do not know any of them. Yeah,
All
none
right.
of them.
Yeah, like wrestling,
because like
wrestling is not good.
you could genuinely real talk, like if you wanted to, you could make wrestling after dark, like dark side, like you can make Dark Side of the Ring with me and I'm the audience proxy, where it's just like, oh wait, what happened? Because like I'll know parts of it, because I'll know, hey, I know what the Montreal screw job is. I don't know what went behind it, or I don't know
Yeah,
what after it. The kind of thing,
yeah,
right? And that can be my thing, if you were trying to do that.
yeah. Because like I've
But
talked
but
about that
yeah,
stuff. I talked about like being Asian American in America. The term Asian American, how it's like it's a misnomer because like we're not a monolith because Zoo he's South Asian,
he's
I'm Southeast
Bengali, yeah.
Asian. Like I say like
Yes.
I say like rice is rice. That's what I do. Um
But
so
you already know, right? You already know, like the average American, race agnostic, still has trouble differentiating between, and I'm quoting here, dot and feather Indians.
my God. Oh man, that's yo.
Like,
Like
and now you're getting into the multiple different types of quote unquote Asians, right? Like the Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese,
yeah,
Taiwanese,
we all watched that King of the Hill
Thai.
where like Ken Kill was like, so are you Chinese or Japanese?
The
He's
only,
Laotian.
the only, the only reason that I still fuck with Hank Hill is that Hank Hill, the whole point of Hank Hill is that he's not racist.
He
He's
learns.
not classist. Like he's super neutral. He's a guy, like basically Hank Hill is a guy that never went anywhere, never did anything, and he stayed in his town. He doesn't hate anybody. He just doesn't know shit. Like he's
Well,
the quote unquote ignorant Republican,
hey,
but once you teach Hank Hill something, he's like he stays to his Christian and his Republican morals. Like he is all over that.
yeah,
And that's been super consistent through the show.
yeah. He
That's why like
eventually, because like he
whenever
eventually
people
learned
say
some
like
Laotian
whenever people
words, and then
yeah,
like
like
he makes
because
friends with
his
like Bernie Mac's
son's
character, with Chris Rock's
yeah,
character.
because
Uh,
like his son's dating an Asian, like
yeah,
so
and
it's
then
like
he,
whenever people say that Hank Hill would vote for Donald Trump, I'm like, no,
I don't think
no,
so.
he wouldn't.
He
Not even
probably would.
close. Like
He would have voted for Biden. He would have voted for Kamala. He
Hank,
would have just
like
like maybe.
worst case, Hank Hill would have not voted. That is
Yeah.
the absolute word. Because
Well,
Hank Hill has actual
yo,
morals, like
you
dead
know,
ass.
like
Like
in
Hank Hill
the
is the most ideal Republican you could ever ask
yo
for.
in the new series, he goes to Saudi Arabia for
Yeah,
like
he goes to Saudi Arabia or
to
something,
make
right?
it yeah like to make money. Like I'm like, yo, that's crazy because like I got relatives over there too that went over there
Yeah,
from like the Philippines to like become engineers. They work over there and
yeah.
then they come over here. I'm like, like people talk about blood money and stuff like that because like what CM Punk's going to Saudi, right? After
And
like
he's getting some heat off of that from
well the
I
only
can't
reason
remember who.
he's getting heat from
From
everybody, bro.
oh
He
no,
got
he was giving John Cena some shit for it, right?
yeah, because he was giving everybody shit for like, oh, he told the Miz like, oh, you're gonna suck a blood money covered dick. He told like he went on all these like podcasts when he got signed like, nah, I'm never going over there. You don't have to worry about it.
Sure
When he was
enough.
in WWE, he's like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that. And I'm like just like 3 months ago, oh, I wouldn't mind going to Saudi Arabia because like he saw
Sure
that
enough, that Arab money talks to everybody, bro.
oh, if I do that, I'm gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna be in
We
trouble.
give Arab money,
I'm gonna
oh,
point
we
over
give.
here. I'm gonna point over there. Yeah, cause like,
Nah, don't point nowhere, nigga. Come on. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry.
yo,
Don't point nowhere, Negro. Come on. Whoops.
hey, you ain't the man, like, man, like, okay, like, if I'm judging him, it's because of the stand he took, right? If he would have just said nothing,
Yes.
no one would be coming for him
Then
because like,
people would have watched him on wrestling, and that's it.
yeah, but he like took a stand, and I'm like, all right, so Sammy went over there, right? Sammy donates all his money to his charity. He doesn't collect that money for himself. He gets it and he puts it into the charity Sammy for Syria, right? To help with like ambulances, medical bills. help rebuilding towns. That's what he does with that money, right?
Hmm.
CM, if CM Punk takes that money, donates it to the Chicago Teachers Union or donates it like to the city of Chicago for education and stuff
Still
like
a
that,
good cause. Still a good cause. But
he'll
people
get
are
called
gonna give
out.
him shit.
They're gonna give him
Yeah,
shit.
people are gonna give him shit. Yeah.
They're gonna give him shit regardless, but he would have at least a little bit to stand on. But like he bought that money, he bought that house in Los Feliz in LA. I don't know why you would do that. Why you would buy a house in LA right now with the market and like
Because speculative is speculative. So like, okay, if I was who's the top guy right now in WWE?
well,
Give me it.
it's got to be the top earner. I think is Cody. It's got
Yeah,
to
if
be
I had
Cody.
Cody money, I would absolutely put money into an LA residence because I'm not selling to Joe Schmo. I'm selling to, you know, D tier Elons that want a place to live, right?
Yeah,
Because you think about all the tech startups like,
I'm just thinking like if he,
Bird,
because like the rumors
Lyft
are he's like
grabbing Lime, all these different startups. It's just like if I had if I had a place where it's just like, okay, I'd start a startup, like if I'm just going into I'm revolutionizing pedestrian walkways,
yeah
and I'm like, yeah, right. Where it's just like I bought a bunch of scooters, and Lyft goes, hey, listen, yo, we can make a partnership. Yeah, I'm selling to them. I'm selling my whole company to them.
yeah
On top of that, I'm cashing out and I'm leaving because Lyft owns us now. Lyft has a platform. They can integrate us into that. I don't care about that because I've sold myself out. I'm out in somewhere in Mykonos, chilling, you know. So yeah, it's a whole big thing. When it comes to these tech startups, when it comes to say doing like, Lyfts, Bird, Uber Eats, those type of things,
uh-huh
it comes down to you're not looking to make money yourself. You're looking to sell somebody
I mean
that gets the vision.
I know like CM Punk has like apartments in Chicago. I know that already because a couple wrestlers talk about like how he rented to them and like it's like not expensive. But
I'd
like
be
I'm
thoroughly shocked if there weren't more wrestlers. Like honestly, I would be thoroughly shocked if there weren't a couple. Like JBL is the guy he's the guy that you look at and you go, oh wait, JBL, he's like a real estate genius.
he lives
And a
in the
lot of people look at,
Caribbeans. He lives in I
yeah,
think
he
he lives in
does.
yeah, he lives in the Caribbeans. So like he doesn't
But
pay
he
like
makes all his money over here
yeah,
off of his real estate. But
yeah,
he cannot be the only one. Not even
yeah.
close. There's
Yeah,
just a lot of other people that are not talking what they made
cuz
doing what JBL did.
I feel like there has to be a lot cuz I know Batista talk about like he was just doing wrestling and that's the only way he was making money. So he did acting to make more money and I'm like that's
Hmm.
crazy. There's no way. But like yeah,
Batista straight up said, "Yeah, before I got Star-Lord, I was fucking broke."
I was fucked. He's probably going to come back to wrestling and like I don't know, but like he's one of my idols. I love that
Five,
he's a
six
big actor.
years,
Yeah. He
I
like
wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. I think like well, he's almost 60. I think he's good, honestly. I think he's like one of the good actors. He's one of my favorite actors right now too. Um he's probably the
I'm
best
gonna
wrestler
counter
turned
you.
actor.
I'm gonna counter you, right?
Uh
Um, Batista's not coming back to wrestling.
no.
Batista's coming back to the C-suite of WWE.
Oh, you think they're gonna give him options?
The most influence we'll see is that he will be working with Triple H on creative.
Hmm. I don't know if he
The
wants to do that.
most. I don't think he does either. Like, I think he would much rather throw some money at it, call himself a producer, and show up at board meetings.
That's what The
on
Rock
Zoom.
does.
That's exactly what The Rock does. And The Rock flipped it into a career for his daughter on
He
NXT.
got his family. His
He
family's
got
taking
he
care of her.
his family is set.
His cousins is all.
Batista Batista's gonna try and do something similar, if not the exact same. But I think it's gonna be a longer phase of Batista in the writer, if not the writers room, the lowest term, he's gonna be in the producer room.
Hmm. You know,
W is gonna be like, put some money up, show us you're really about it, and he's gonna put some money up and try to ride the exact same money train that Triple H has convinced all his shareholders to ride.
I don't know, man. I feel like right now the way WWE is ran, because WWE is not ran by by Triple H. He's just a writer. He's not Nick Khan. I honestly feel like all this stuff, like him making moves, like to be like with the cabinet. You know that, right? He like took that picture with RFK Jr. He's
Yeah,
doing meetings like that stuff. He's showing up at like the confirmation meeting hearings for uh Linda McMahon. I think
yeah.
he already sees like if he leaves TKO, leaves WWE, I think he
Mhm.
knows what he's gonna be doing. Um and it's not gonna be nothing good. Um I do feel like oftentimes when we talk about wrestling and wrestlers, we like talk about like conjecture, we talk about rumors and all that stuff, and it's pretty interesting. Like that's what we do as fans. And like you don't keep up that
Yeah.
much, but us being able to teach you these things about lucha libre, teaching you about like a little bit of the history and this stuff, I think that's cool, man. And like when I talk about like history and I talk about like Black history, I don't know, like February is Black History Month, today's Juneteenth. I'm being a little bit topical. We were talking about Crime Time earlier in the strap match, which that was fucked up. I don't think I don't think two black men should have a strap match for Vince McMahon. That's not cool with me.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
I,
So,
I I don't think about I think about like Booker T standing there while Vince McMahon says that to John Cena. And I'm like, he doesn't tell me he didn't just say that. I'm just like,
Booker T would not have taken that match that Crime Time took.
yeah. Crime Time took that
Nah,
match
not even
because they're so
close.
low on the card, and they're like, if we don't do this, maybe we get fired. That's how I feel.
And the crazy part is they had hella heat. They had so much heat. They were so over. It wasn't even funny.
Yeah.
Like
They
they
should have
weren't like
beat
they weren't the
Murdoch.
most over, but for tag team teams, they were the most over in
Yeah.
their era.
Because like when I think about like great black wrestlers from that era, like it's
Yeah.
Crime Time. I love them as a team. Their character, whatever, their promos were good. They were
Bobby
over.
Lashley,
I think about Bobby Lashley. I think about Shelton
Mark
Benjamin,
Henry,
Mark
Shelton
Henry.
Benjamin, Mark Henry, yeah.
Like it's and
Yeah.
yeah, like our truth, our truth, man. Like, cause
Our
like
truth, yeah, our truth. Yep.
yeah, Carlito is actually his dad is like Afro Latino. If you look at him, if Carlos
I
Senior,
never knew that.
like his dad is
So
black. He has that's why his hair is that way. But like
makes a lot of sense.
some Latinos, some Afro Latinos will say, "Oh no, not Black Poppy," that thing. But like,
And you go, shut up.
and like if I think about like the black wrestlers back then who were like representing, and then like the people who grew up on them and they became wrestlers, like when I look at a guy like Swerve Strickland and he directly references like Shelton Benjamin like as like one of his idols, and like they actually have a match, and like I think
Hmm.
that's cool, man. And like to have like a Swerve Strickland, to have a Trick Williams. I know we're talking about Trick and Obafemi and Mello, but like having those guys on a roster,
No, Swerve is next up right alongside those dudes, bro. He's
yeah.
next up too.
Yeah,
It's
like,
just crazy. It's just crazy that Triple H is not pulling these dudes from NXT. Like
well,
they're just
like
still there.
the rumor is, well, like thing is, like Triple H says, I don't see color, right? You look at the Street Profits,
Bullshit.
you see the Street Profits, right?
Sure.
Oh my God,
Trash
so
ass
over.
crime time, basically.
Yeah,
They're over, but they're just like garbage crime time. Like everything I've seen of them is like it's not
and then
like
you look
crime
at,
time pulled up. Yeah, and it was just like, yo, crime time is here. But like Street Bombs pulled up, like who cares?
yeah, you got like the New Day, right? Yeah, I think Kofi's a
Yeah,
legend. I think he hit
he
that
is.
status. He won the
I would
WWE
even
title. He
I would
had that
even
long ass run.
stretch. I would even 100% stretch and say that Austin is up there too.
Austin, Big E, that group itself is legendary.
Like the
I
whole group is actually legendary,
The whole
but
group
I
is
don't
legendary,
think
but
I
Kofi is like,
well, yeah, Kofi's a standout, but I don't think that the entire group all right, the entire group is worthy of the tag team Hall of Fame.
yeah,
I don't think that the entire group is worthy of like anything outside of that. Despite
like it
and now
sucks.
I'm getting a
It
little
really does.
biased.
It does suck what happened to Big E though.
Yes, that was a random chance. But it's just like they had a actually goated run.
As
So
tag
if we
team,
were to put them
yeah,
in Hall of Fame, it would have to be all three. Like
yeah,
it can't be just two of them. It have to be all three. But outside of that, like outside of the GOAT run, like right now, they're mechanics. It's the mechanic shop, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Like,
And it's just like I'm okay with that because they already had their GOAT run. But it's like I was saying earlier, it's like, okay, you have these superstars for WWE specifically. You have these superstars that you have sitting and waiting, right? And it's
yeah,
just like if they go over to like AEW where anything goes, who gives a fuck? They'll become household names for AEW people.
yeah.
For
You see that with Swerve.
WWE, with WWE, it's just like I said, Crime Time was not only a jobber ass tag team, they also got a legitimate run at the
If
tag team title and they won it because like the thing is to in order to make them a threat, it's kind of like if you had Vegeta
uh,
show up on planet Earth and he just runs through all the Z fighters, you need a Vegeta in and of itself
a
for
Piccolo,
Vegeta to fight. Yeah, you need a Piccolo. You need somebody that's gonna make this
like
motherfucker struggle.
if TNA was actually viable in the 2000s, we wouldn't have the problems that we have.
TNA, honestly, TNA should have been filling the role that NXT fills for WWE right now.
That's what they're
If
doing
TNA
right now,
was
dude. So like,
right now, but I'm
yeah,
saying is
it's
like
crazy.
15 years ago, TNA should have been booking as though they have the next niggas up, the next dudes
Oh
up.
yeah,
It
that's
was
what
just like,
ROH
oh
was
yeah,
doing. That's what Ring of Honor was doing. That's why we saw the guys. We saw Brian. We saw Punk. We
yeah,
saw like
yeah,
we see like Seth Rollins. He came from
from TNA.
no, Seth Rollins came from Ring of Honor. Because like,
Right, that's right. RH, yeah.
yeah, so we see like these guys come from Ring of Honor. Like they come up. Moxley, he came from like what was it? Dragon Gate USA. Like that same kind of thing, like independence, and like we see people get built up to that level. We're not seeing that now because the independent wrestling doesn't exist in that way
Is fucking dead, yeah.
because
This is they're
everybody's
being
being bought
eaten
up. Yeah, it's
by
all
one entity or another.
yeah, because AEW and WWE are getting everybody before they're ready. Like they have young guys in AEW that's on TV, young guys and girls that shouldn't
Hmm.
be on TV, but they get picked up because like if they don't pick them up, WWE is gonna have them, and who are they gonna be developing their own selves? And then like you get stuff like New
And
Japan and CMLL.
yep,
Also like
yeah.
it's all like people are getting picked up from there, and like it becomes like now AEW says, "Hey, we'll partner with you, CMLL, New Japan, so that WWE is not going to take every one of your guys." Because if I look about the guys who got from New Japan to WWE, you got Jeff Cobb, you got Hikuleo, you got
Yep.
the
Yep.
Gorillas of Destiny. Man, I miss their
Yep.
song. Ain't nobody realer than. But like you got like
But
you
like
got
the tricky part is that like you have all this talent developing outside of WWE, but the thing is, once you go to the biggest show in town, once you're, not to try and get this thing canceled, a Chris Benoit, and
yeah
you have that guy come from New Japan pulling up and saying, "Hey, listen, look at my reels from New Japan. Look at my reels from this other overseas thing I was doing. Like, I'm legit, I'm not trash."
yeah
And you hire that motherfucker, and you don't even give him all the same mental issues, all the same anger issues. Matter of fact, you make Chris Benoit like a real fucking, wrestler. The problem is with WWE, they get Chris Benoit or a Chris Benoit variant, and they go, "Oh, we have our golden goose for the next 5 years." So he goes on a tear. He goes on an Asuka tear, possibly
mm,
throughout the men's division. Wins at least 2 out of the 4. There's more belts, right?
there's a lot of belts, man. There's too many belts.
I was about to say, like he goes on a tear, wins at least 2 belts, possibly a tag team,
Mm,
probably a weight class belt, possibly a intercontinental belt, right?
mm.
Like if you're trying to make him like I'm trying to imagine WWE building a mid Carter. I think that
There's
it's
no mid
way
card
more
anymore,
important
man.
to have, and that's the problem. I think like there's so much value in creating a valid and diverse mid card,
Yeah,
because
because
like your heavyweights are going to be your heavyweights. Like you're going to have the Big Show or some variant. You're going to have whoever the fuck as a big guy who's here to say, "Oh, he picked up that big other guy. Oh shit,
yeah,
rah rah rah." But like your actual spectacle, all your actual like, "Hey, we're doing crazy shit in the ring." Your Ricochet, well, Ricochet was like several pounds for being middleweight.
yeah,
But you get what I'm saying. Like Ricochet should have been the Demetrius Johnson of his weight class. Like he should have been just, "Okay, yo, listen, I'm the shortest motherfucker here. I'm locked in." And they should have legitimately, like, they could have even made storyline off of it where it's just like, Ricochet's winning so fucking much that they're threatening the entire division, right? And then you can pull somebody into the mechanic shop, and build them off of that to beat Ricochet, and Ricochet's still legitimate and still in WWE, still
uh-huh.
ready to train up new people. Like, there's so much work they could have done to make, and that's just off of Ricochet. Dolph Ziggler's the same, just a weight class above, or a weight class and a half above. Where Dolph Ziggler, he can sell any human being. Like, I could go into a ring and pretend to super kick that man. He'll sell the fuck out of it, and
Yeah.
I'll be intercontinental champion right now, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Dolph Ziggler is your ultimate mechanic, and if I'm not mistaken, he's released, right?
I mean, he aged out, man. I think like a lot of the times too, a
Well,
lot
he
of
aged out, but
a
it's
lot
just
of
like
guys
they
shit.
didn't give him the run. Like, you know what he needs? He needs a Mark Henry moment. He needs I got a lot left in the tank. Put him against some mid carders, ease him up. Put him against
He
John Cena right now.
he did kind of do that in NXT. Like they literally ran through everything with him, man. He kind of had that
Yeah,
run
okay.
in NXT. Like he beat a couple guys. He beat Braun Breaker, and then they built up Braun
Yeah,
to beat him back for the belt.
yeah. And
So like
okay, that makes sense. It's just
yeah,
like
they literally
I guess it's just like, you
they
know what?
literally just did that.
My
They did that
problem
with him.
is, my ultimate problem
What's up?
is that I look at NXT
Hmm.
and I think Trick Williams, Lash Legend, and maybe one or two people behind them. And I'm like, okay. And then I go and look at, WWE, like real WWE. So like me being the semi-casual, where it's just like I know a bit more than some guy that's turning it on while
Yeah,
he's clipping his toenails,
yeah,
versus the super fan that knows, where, like, who's who, where's where, blah 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 blah, blah, treating
yeah,
it like a real sport.
yeah.
I'm in that middle space where it's just like I'm looking at people, I'm like, how are you not main roster? How is Oba not main roster over
Bro,
Carmelo Hayes, who could have had easily another year of development and come out and not have that Cody botch that
that
fucking
the
has
way
damn near like sunk, like buried him damn near
the way I feel about Melo was they put him with Trick, and Trick overshadowed him, right? Because Trick has the
easily,
charisma.
because Trick should be main roster.
Like
Like,
you look at Obafemi, you look at Trick. If they were in, I know like he's lauded like, oh, fuck Vince McMahon, but yeah, fuck Vince McMahon. But
yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah,
were in NXT like 10 years ago, Vince McMahon would have
yeah.
seen him.
They dominated.
They would have brought him up, like, cause like if Apollo Crews and if Apollo Crews had mic skills like Trick or Oba
You
do,
give you give
my
Trick and
God,
Oba two more people, that's the re-evolution. Like, straight up.
like you put Trick and Oba, like, and you know what's crazy, man? They were about to have their contracts run out. Imagine those two
Yeah,
just
I
show up
believe
on
it.
Dynamite
I believe it. Yeah, I
instantly.
mean, like, because like, and that's the trickiest part. Like, if I was an Oba, if I was a Trick and my contract's up with WWE, I'm probably, and like, you
Come on,
know,
Bubba.
Khan Khan just has to give me like $2 more.
That's
Just
two
$2
dollars,
more.
but you get all the freedom, man. You got the opportunity
That's
to
what I'm
go to
saying. That's
Mexico
what
and
I'm
Japan.
saying. Like,
You
yeah, like
you get to do some acting.
I can wrestle on AEW. I can go AAA. I can go NJP. Like, I have so many fucking options on top of just building up my star power in
Yeah,
AEW, where their creative is going to nurture, like, their creative compared to WWE is so progressive that like me personally, like, and me, like, I'm a guy where it's just like I don't really want to look at 3,000 different things. I follow like four AEW wrestlers on
yeah.
Instagram, so I can just like
Where are they?
know, oh hey, they're doing a thing. Yeah, they're doing a thing. And then like everything else on my Instagram wrestling is WWE.
Who do you follow from
And
them?
oh shit, never mind. She's Ring of Honor. Queen Amidala?
Queen Amanada. Oh,
Yeah.
yo, that. Mm, my
She's
African
like
queen.
a she's like a I didn't work out Jade Cargill. Who else?
She's like she got a ridiculous body, but like
Yes.
not like a
But
muscular
no,
body.
not the ring. Yeah, the ring skill. Well, I won't even say that because Jade doesn't have the craziest ring skill. Like, Jade is Zelina with like a trainer across 6 months. That's where
Cause like
Jade has been.
Queen Amanada had like a really fire match with Athena, but that's
Yes.
Athena.
Yeah.
Like those two, man. And then there's another one
Um.
they got. Yeah, like I
I
like.
was following. I was following Ember Moon
Yeah.
until she got cut.
Oh,
Well, I still follow her, but she got cut.
she's a baddie right now, dude.
Yes,
She worked out. She's a
she's
baddie.
in not Ring of Honor. She's in Ring of Honor.
She's the Ring
She's in
of Honor
a
champion.
yes, yeah, she's in Ring of
But
Honor.
like I consider Ring of Honor and AEW the same thing, anyways. Cause it's like,
I follow Tony
oh yeah,
and Mercedes. Like, I follow those
oh,
two,
like,
but I also have to consider that like I'm not very social media minded, so it's just like
ah,
Instagram is something that I turn on when I'm sitting on the toilet. So
oh,
if they come up
cool. If they don't, cool. But I'm usually the WWE talent that I follow
Yeah.
outnumbers them. It just mogs the fuck out of them.
You know,
And the crazy part is that I know that AEW has like so much, like AEW has so much talent that it realistically should be Monday, Friday Night Wars again.
yeah,
And
but
I don't know why it's not.
it's not because they destroyed NXT when they were going head to head, and
Yeah.
then they were actually getting better ratings back then. I mean, and now like with streaming, things are changing because they're on Max, WWE's
hmm
on Netflix and
Yeah,
Peacock.
AEW's got like I have a Max account. I have access to a not Paramount, but Peacock?
Yeah, yeah, Peacock.
Yeah, so like
Hey
I could
yo,
watch both. Like, but the thing is, like, oh, I have Netflix. Netflix is where Raw is.
yeah.
Honestly, you know what? I think a big mistake is keeping SmackDown on Netflix. Oh no, not Netflix, network television.
I
I
mean,
think that SmackDown needs to like Raw is on Netflix. I think there needs to be
this.
SmackDown on something.
I mean, they keep the USA thing because they still get like 2 million a week. That's why
Sure, but
they
who the fuck watches? Like, okay, the last
they
time that
watch
I
more
watched
people watch
USA,
SmackDown than they watch Raw, and they should have stayed on
yes,
Fox. They should have stayed on Fox if
yeah,
they
they
were in
should have stayed
favor.
on. Well, they should have stayed on actual like network television instead of going
Yeah,
to USA. They should have jumped back to we don't have UPN anymore, but we have CW, we have Fox, we have
yeah.
ABC, and it's just like my thing of it is like this, right? So
They could have
when
stayed on Fox
SmackDown
because
jumped,
if you actually look at the
mhm,
money that they make, because now
yeah,
SmackDown is 3 hours, right? They're making less
for some
money.
reason,
They're
for
making
no
less
reason.
money
Yeah.
doing more hours of TV than they would if they would have just said, okay, we'll take that Fox money again. Because it wasn't going up, it was staying the same. But if you give up Fox, you give up all the ratings you were getting. You're giving up
hmm
like the audience that would be watching on regular TV because they would get like 3 million. Like, like
So
we're talking
my
about like
arm,
ruthless aggression era of like numbers. Like, and it's like, why
and
are
it's
you
just
giving that
like,
up?
and it's just like tail end of Ruthless was pushing into PG.
Yeah,
You could have still had the TV contract because like people were still like Ruthless Aggression. People were still watching because like tail end of Ruthless Aggression is the Shield. You know, you
yeah.
have like Heath Slater, you know, and all those the other four motherfuckers that were there. You
Oh,
know,
okay.
I'm
Yeah, you're
sorry,
talking
I'm
about the
terrible with names.
Nexus.
Yeah, the Nexus, yeah. And it's just like you had talent there, yeah, and they were coming in every single week. They weren't the fucking Spirit Squad. They were coming in mogging people, like dogging them out, and it was hype. And it was just like, oh shit, who's the fucking shit? You know, bossy. But it's just like
Yeah,
SmackDown was hype back then. Like,
because like
okay.
I know we talked about like
I'm gonna
we.
propose something that like you probably proposed. Other people like we need a one show a week.
I mean,
One show a week. You cut a ton of matches, but you have a lot. Like I think if you cut a ton of matches, add in a lot more
I'm a
cutscenes,
I'm gonna be
and
honest,
you
bro. I only
yeah
watch like I'll watch a Dynamite if it's a special Dynamite like yesterday, like it was a
yeah
Dynamite in Mexico, right? I'll watch that.
yeah.
I'll watch a SmackDown if it like has to do with like I want to watch. That's when I watch is like when there's something I want to watch. And then
But do
lately,
you think about it? People are uploading torrent files of wrestling each week. WWE.
and it's like
So it's just like
10 hours, 10
no,
hours, no,
like
11
like
hours.
last year when I jumped back in,
Yeah,
it was because I didn't have any streaming. Netflix hadn't jumped back in yet last year,
yeah,
right? So it was just like, okay, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch, Raw, and I would go onto Pirate Bay, get my little file, pull it up. Don't this is hypothetical, okay, for the sponsor. Hypothetical.
allegedly.
I'm lying. Allegedly, right? And the same for SmackDown. I would get that. And for the 3 or 4 months that I was watching, that was that. And it's just like if I could have gotten a streaming service, or if I could have had if I can have it to where it's just like, okay, you know what? Hey, listen, wrestling, we don't need to have, we're not going to do the, the show specific sets where you have the big fists coming out of the stage for SmackDown and you have the Raw,
Yeah.
thing, which I so wish we went back to stage, like, show specific
Yo.
stages.
Yeah, man.
That was so fucking cool.
Those were cool,
And it
man.
differentiated it. It was like cool. It differentiated the two shows
Uh-huh.
because right now it's just like, hey, a ring, a ramp, a fucking screen, and a bunch of people screaming right now. But whereas like that fist punching through, that was SmackDown. Shut your mouth, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I won't be denied. Like, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Breaking out, breaking
because
down,
what I find out
breaking
about
rules,
wrestling
breaking
fans
ground.
is all the time we're trying to go back to what period we were happiest as fans, right? For you, like it's
Yeah.
ruthless aggression. For me, it's like WCW 1997, Luchadors, Hulk
I
Hogan, all
wish
that
that I
stuff.
was in on the Monday Night Wars. I wish I was in.
Yeah, but like we can't go back. We gotta like look at what we have now. And like what we have now, there's so much talent out. There's so much good wrestling out there right now.
We're in a
People
renaissance.
say,
We're in a actually true renaissance
yeah, and
where
people
like
say
so many
that
people like, yeah.
people say like there's too much wrestling. Like if you listen to like a Brian Alvarez or a Dave Meltzer, they're like there's so much to keep up on.
No.
I'm like, no, you keep
No,
up on what you
like,
want to keep on.
listen,
You watch
because
what
you
you
know
want to
what it
watch.
is? Well, because yeah, exactly true. Like, because you know what I've found in my, wrestling, trying to spread the good word, like like good Jehovah's Witness, is that a lot of people go, I don't know who The Rock is. I don't know who Stone Cold is. And I have to spread to them, it doesn't matter. All you need to do is to watch this week, next week, and then by next week, you should have investment in something. Like good booking means that you need 2 episodes max before you go, oh shit,
Yeah,
yo, Liv Morgan ran out and fucked up Rhea Ripley's match again.
yeah, cause
Why'd
like
she do that? And now in the era of YouTube, why'd she do that? You can go and look up why exactly. Well, it's because she did this last week, and she did this last week, and she did this the week before. And you can see like there's YouTubers with the story of Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. They've got a video uploaded. It's just like in the era of 2025, the ability to sell people on wrestling has been never easier because you're past the post kayfabe phase, where like when I was in middle school watching,
yeah,
DX, and it was just me, and I'm not making fun. I'm not being politically incorrect, but my buddy Sam from the special education class were
yeah,
the only two marks in my grade, right? And like I loved Sam because all he had was anger issues. He wasn't developmentally, he wasn't anything of that. He wasn't any of that. He was just anger issues. So they put him into special class. I fucking hated it for him. But yeah, whenever it came to wrestling, yeah, me and him were on the same wave. Yo, he would talk to me. He'd be like, "Yo, Shawn Michaels came out, blase, blase, blase," and then Triple H came out, and they did a chop, 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 and they blase, blase, blase. Yeah, it's just like
yeah, man.
we need that level where it's just like, okay, the Terror Twins is still fucking with, the Judgment Day, but
Mm,
they do it this, like, if we can get maybe not exactly attitude, but closer, right? Where, WWE is willing to spend, X amount of grands on, some burner trash car, right? And and fucking Liv drives in this trash car, and then Rhea Ripley comes in with a fucking sledgehammer and a fucking flamethrower and tries to burn that car alive. Like,
that 90s era wrestling where you never knew what the fuck next week was going to show. It was actual appointment television. If we could get that back, that would do a lot of lifting for not only retention, which I mean to say people that have been watching wrestling for
Yeah,
more than
yeah,
2 years, but recruitment, where you go, because we're in 2025, we're in the clip era, we're in the social media era. So it turned into, it's not water cooler talks at the water cooler. It's at the water cooler. Hey, yo, look at this real quick. Pull it up on your phone. Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania jamming her fucking shoulder back into place, or fucking Cody Rhodes pulling off his jacket to show that he's been fucking hurt this whole time.
man.
Where it's just
I, g-
like,
I gotta say
it doesn't
this.
even matter if shit's real or fake. That it right there is real. They're putting on the show for you. It doesn't matter if the show's real or fake.
Yeah.
They're really fucking selling it for you. They don't give a fuck.
Hey, man. I always say this on my show, right? Even if you're not
Yeah.
watching, but once you're a wrestling fan, you're always a wrestling fan because look at you, man.
You're always a mark.
You're always a wrestling
You're
fan.
never, it's kind of like if you go to if you go to if you go to AA and they go, hey, listen, you're in recovery the rest of your life. It's the same for wrestling. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, I told you very early on in this episode, my sister is
Yeah,
still a
because
mark.
you were telling me like you don't have anything interesting to say, man, but we're on like an hour and 30 minutes of you just talking with me, and like you had a
Yeah,
lot to say,
like
brother.
I really thought I didn't. So like I'm very not the most confident. But then again, like, like I have a lot to say about like things like WWE Crush Hour. I have a lot to say
Yeah,
about
yeah.
dumb shit when it comes to
Um,
WWE. But I
yeah,
guess it
because
all piles up.
yeah, I was meaning to like bring up fighting games, but that never came up, so it's cool. But like I
I
always
mean,
ask,
like
I always ask,
we can
yeah, but
because I can explain my level of
yeah,
overlap is super slim. It's Armika and like Skullmania, I
yeah,
guess, and
because
not even Skullmania because I have nothing. Oh, I'm sorry. And
Darren,
fuck, who the fuck is Duran? Is he SNK?
Darren is the one from EX with the mustache, the Indian dude.
Never played EX.
Oh, how do you? Oh, you
Who's
know Skullomania from the.
uh,
He's,
who's King of Fighters? He's not Kyo's team. He's the wrestler man. He's a lucha man. Not King of
Tizak,
Dinosaurs. Not King of
Ramon,
Dinosaurs slash T's fuck, what's his name?
Ramon with the eye patch.
No, he straight up has a lucha fucking mask on.
I'm talking about. There's like Tizak. There's Ramon, that's
It
also a
might be
lucha guy.
T's. Hold on. I'm gonna do a quick Google because I'm not SNK qualified.
Yeah, Tizak and King of Dinosaurs is kind of the same character.
Yeah, they're the same dude, but like, okay, we got T-Lock, and all it's showing is him in 14. He had the fucking. Oh my god, no, this dude. Oh my god, was it? Oh, hold on.
Cause there's so much wrestling in SNK, but dude, like it's getting. I do ask these two questions at the end of my show. While you
Hold
look
on,
that up.
real quick. I'm about to get this dude's name right now.
All right,
Oh my gosh, shoot! Oh, holy shit!
cause like Clark's a good wrestler.
Raiden,
Um,
Raiden. That's the
right.
guy that I was thinking of. That's the guy I was thinking of.
Oh yeah,
Where it's
right. And
just,
that
yeah,
dude's based off of Big Van Vader.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I love using him in CVS too. That's such a good like, cause he has that drop kick and the power bomb.
Hmm.
Cause like my
I
shit is
respect, I respect SNK for like leaning like SNK more than like Capcom. Capcom does a lot of research, and I'm for the sponsors, for the people listening. Capcom games do a lot of research on their new characters' fighting styles.
So for
Yeah,
example, I'm a not Karen.
brother. I
Who's the
got.
ice girl from Five?
I don't know,
Street Fighter
man.
Five.
But I do ask these questions at the lot because like it's getting late, bro. But so I wanted
Oh
to ask
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to ask you these two questions.
Listen,
All
close me out. Close me out.
right, the last two questions is what's your favorite dessert?
I'll yap for the rest of my life, dude. My favorite dessert? Oh my gosh. I like red velvet cake, but with vanilla frosting.
All right, like we're gonna do this again, bro. Don't worry. Like I said, you
Bro,
have a lot to
listen,
say all
listen,
the
listen,
time.
listen.
We
I
can
didn't realize
go.
how much I had to say.
Yeah,
Like,
look, I bring
yeah,
this
this
out of
is fun, dude.
people
This is super fun.
because let me tell you, like what I tell people all the time is, oh, it's only a 20-minute interview, but like it always goes 2 hours. It
That's a
always goes,
trap. That's a
it always
trap.
goes an hour and a half. Like, because it's like, okay, you get comfortable, and then you can go start to say like, when we talk wrestling, it's
We
always memories, and then you go like, oh,
There's
damn,
so much
okay,
wrestling stuff, and there's so much fighting game stuff. Like I barely talked fighting games today.
yeah,
It was all
yeah,
wrestling.
yeah, but
And
like,
it's like it was all wrestling that I knew, wrestling that you knew. Like fighting games didn't come in for me until the end.
yeah, yeah, and
All the
then
fighting game people left.
yeah, yeah, and we talk lucha libre, which you had an experience with it with Lucha Underground.
Like,
That's
yeah, that
cool.
was my most, yeah. But it's like I had no AAA, and I didn't even know about that other agency you guys brought up
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about CMLL a lot. That's like CMLL is actually the oldest pro wrestling federation. It's gonna be
in
91
the world.
years,
Oh wow,
92 years old this
wow,
year.
that's
Ran for
awesome, dude.
92
That's awesome.
years. Can you imagine?
Well, listen. Look, listen. If you try to do a fucking, oh my gosh, if you try to do a series, man, I'm 100% down for this. I may not be on time. I'll be late, but I will try to contribute. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, bro. You have Max. I'm gonna give you this like little thing, okay? You have Max.
yeah.
Watch. It's called Grand Slam Mexico. Is the episode that
Hmm.
aired like the most recent episode of Dynamite. You go watch that
Okay, bet.
and like get back to me and like it goes crazy. Mercedes is on that show. Um,
Love her.
there's a lot of good wrestling on that show. Mystico's on that
Bet.
show. Sin Cara. I know you know him as Sin Cara, but you need to see like this.
Yeah,
You need to
yeah, yeah.
see this
Sin Cara.
version
I
of
like
him.
Sin Cara, bro. I like Sin
Yeah,
Cara.
you need to
Yeah,
see
he's
this
hype.
version. You need to see this version of Sin Cara. And like
He's doing different shit. Yo, bet.
no,
Say
like
less. I'm
it's
gonna
different from
type that in
WWE.
right now.
It's different from WWE. Like
What
because
was the
like
name of that again?
Dynamite. It was the last Dynamite Grand Slam. Um, and then like the last question I ask all the time is like, what do you want your rainbow to say? Uh, and like Hawking, because he's from New York, he always has to be like, yo, hey, yo. Like I mean, like like pause. Like how can you live your life saying pause after every sentence? You know, like
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? So that's a super New York thing.
yeah.
Honestly, I speak pretty freely, and once I come across something sus, like if someone says, "Hey, listen, I dove up at all the holes," and I go, "Yeah," and I'm gonna fill them,
Hey,
right?
yo,
Yeah,
that's good, man.
right.
Yo,
Right.
yo, Philo.
I lean into it. I lean into it now, right? I'm be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna fill them up. I'm gonna make sure they
Hey, man, you
never
if
close up while I'm inside.
if you're in the military, bro,
I'm
because
leaning all
because
the
you're a
way in.
veteran, and I know like all y'all
Yup.
veterans, that's the whole joke for the whole thing. Because like I used to work with y'all in my previous life, and I'm like, yo, how many fucking dick jokes can I make? How many things where I come up from behind the dude
There's
and say like,
always one more.
I'm always
Always
gonna
one
like,
more.
if how often am I
So
gonna pop up
like
behind the dude and whisper in his ear like, hey, so what's up?
I've been a part of a medical company since
Yeah,
I joined the Army National Guard.
yeah.
And so a joke that we have Army in the Army National Guard for
This is
our
gonna be your
because I've
message
been
to
a
the people.
yeah, because I've been a part of a medical unit, right?
Yeah.
So the medical units they always go, "Hey, how many people can you fit in an ambulance? One more." Well, throw it over. How many dick jokes can you fit in? One more.
Oh yeah, man.
Always one more.
Always one more. That's a good
One
message, man.
more.
I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank Dan. I want to thank
Oh yeah, man.
Hawk. I want to thank Zoo for coming on. I know he called me Larry because my name is the my screen
He
name
was
is
government you, bro.
no.
Like
That's
you're
not my
Doc, bro.
government name. That's not my government name. My
Oh,
real
you got a
name is
fake
not Dr.
game,
Larry. My name is not Larry Yacht. Come on,
bro.
man.
Cause like well, you know what? This is a pseudonym too, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, thank you, Will. Thank you, Will Mashal. Uh, bling bong bong, bling bong bong, bling bong bong. Like, thank you for coming in, man.
Cream puffs, cream puffs.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking to me. I told you right away. You have a lot to say. Don't worry about it. And what happened?
You are a very good interviewer. You're very good at pulling out what people have to talk about inside.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yo, yeah, man. We'll do this again. Don't worry. This is gonna happen.
Absolutely, bro. This
I'm
is fun as like if we can get everybody from the server, I'm not telling you the name of it, fuck y'all. But if we
uh,
can get everybody that's a wrestling mark from the server, because I feel like we got what, me, you, Hawk. If we get Epi is an S tier shit talker. Epi is an S tier fan too. So
yeah,
yeah, we could use them too.
yeah.
That would be iconic for this podcast, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna say one more thing.
Yeah.
Yo, fuck Rock B. You know who you are. You snubbed me.
Oh my
Your ass
god,
snubbed me.
bro.
Um,
God damn, bro.
you know,
Look. These forum beefs never die, bro. Oh my god, that's crazy. You
hey,
had to have been saying that for like the past 13 plus.
hey, but if you wanna catch me, um, you can catch these hands if you want, because I got CVS too. I play old man games. I play rivals. You
Which ones?
can.
Which ones? Which ones? Because like Zoo plays ST, so which ones do you play? Because I have CVS two. I
Yeah,
have the collection,
yeah.
but
You
I
can.
was focused on Project Justice because that's the one I never push buttons in. That was
Yo,
fun as fuck.
yeah. Like I played OG Rival Schools for PSX, right? But
Yeah,
I'm like this is kind of like it's a different ish game. So it
yeah.
doesn't have like my main. My main in that game was Sakura. But yeah, we'll talk about more about this later, man. Cause it's late. I know my wife is probably like staring daggers at the back of my head. I feel it.
Man, tell her you're busy. Tell her you're
Yeah,
busy, and then turn on the six on CVS two.
yeah.
A game
So
I never push buttons in.
yeah, I'm gonna say thank you for coming, man.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you to Zoo. Thank you to Hawk. This might be like a future thing because this ruled. Thank you for coming, man.
I
Yeah,
think. Do you have a YouTube channel?
yeah, man. Hold up.
I think it would be a lot.